Yo. What's up, everyone? How y'all doing today? I got my brother from another mother, Tom Ross, TV in the building. At the end of the day, with Tom Ross, brick by brick, Tom Ross,
It's just brick.
uncut,
It's just brick by brick now.
brick by brick, Tom Ross, raw, Tom Ross, you name it, Tom Ross separating the weak from the strong. Let's get it, man. What's up, bro? How you doing today?
Man, just ready to get into this boxing, man. Let's keep the foot on the next, man. Separate the weak from the strong.
That's what's up. Ooh, um, I'm glad you presented that to us today because that's very key that we need to talk about this specific issue. Because right before we went live, Ross was able to find through research the tampered gloves that Terence Crawford used as opposed to the regulated gloves that Everlast used for every fight. My question, and this is dawning on me, and it's really like jarring in my brain, is how all of a sudden Terence Crawford in two back-to-back fights, he gets defective gloves when we know a company like Everlast, they're not only a national company, they're a global company that basically cover boxing, cover combat sports, and they are known as a global company to internationally give out gloves on a daily basis, sell gloves, market gloves. You mean to tell me a professional athlete at the highest levels of Terence Crawford's order, Terence Crawford's magnitude, the buildup, the biggest fight known in boxing, this day and age, Spence versus Crawford. You mean to tell me that he couldn't get regulated gloves? That he had to get tempered gloves? What the fuck is going on?
No, he didn't get tampered gloves. They tampered with the gloves. Hold on, give me a
Exactly.
second. I'm gonna show you something.
You heard what he said? They didn't get tampered gloves. He didn't get tampered gloves. They tampered with the gloves. If you guys look at the thumbnail, you could see the difference between a regulated Everlast glove and you could see a glove that was tampered with.
Nah,
Y'all need
nah,
to go and look
that,
at the
that's
display.
nah, that's not what I was trying to show you. So it's the same glove, but that's the reason why I wanted you to use the other thumbnail. Because in the other thumbnail, this part of the glove is sticking straight up in the air.
Yep.
In Terence Crawford's fight, which it cannot do. You see, even with my hand as straight as I can have it, this part is still 90 degrees.
Yep.
It don't stick straight up. That's unnatural, right?
Yep.
This is how it looks. This is how it looks when it's balled up. Not this part going all the way down there. That's because it was tampered with, right? Whatever they had right here was hard as fuck.
Yep.
When you catch it, when you have it open to catch shots, you see how this still curved down is not straight up in the air.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I was trying to show in that picture. From the side, fist closed, fist all the way open. Fist all the way open. It's not straight up and down. Whatever they did to that glove, they altered that glove because the gloves don't do that. I have to literally grab my fingers and pull them back for it to be straight up, and it's still not even straight up. I gotta apply pressure to do that. He was able to do that with ease because it was something in there doing that. The
Exactly.
gloves don't do that on their own. You know what I'm saying? That's what I was trying to get through.
Gotcha. So basically, when there's something in there that tampers with the gloves, it forces your hand, like you just did with you applying pressure. It forces your hand to it forces your hand to go against its natural form of how it's supposed to fit in the glove, right?
Yeah, well, it makes the glove do things it wouldn't normally do. So for that glove to be able to do that, first of all, it had to be an old glove. It had to
Mm-hmm.
be an old glove. And for it to be standing straight up like that, there was something hard in the tip of the glove to do that.
Gotcha.
because as you can see, I had to put pressure on it to make it do that. I had to put strength on it. Your hand, you can't just open up your hand like this in a glove and the glove goes straight up like that.
Facts.
That doesn't happen. And so the fact that nobody else is speaking on that is an issue.
Yep.
And these gloves are training gloves.
Mm-hmm.
They don't even, so these gloves aren't even built as sturdy as the professional gloves. So it's basically these gloves are more easy to manipulate than the professional gloves, and they won't even do it.
Facts.
You never see anybody in boxing history open up their glove all the way like this.
Yep.
Never.
But we seen it in one other fight where the gloves were tampered with like that, and that's in the Tyson Fury and the Deontay Wilder fight.
Tyson Fury. Now the Tyson Fury shit in the first fight, the reason why I was flopping is because on one of the gloves, his hand wasn't all the way in the glove. His fist was right here in the middle of the glove. That's why I was flopping. And he was slapping. It's like he was slapping, but he really was punching with the inside of his hand. These are things you won't pick up unless you actually box, and you will realize how people throw punches and how they throw punches when they're cheating. There's two different ways. Because now they have parts of the glove that can hit and they can hurt you with that they normally wouldn't be able to hurt you with. Like a lot of the punches Terence Crawford was landing wasn't using the knuckles. It was using this part, that hard ass part. I don't watch the fight like 10 times over now, so now I know exactly how he was cheating. It was using this part of the glove here. That's where that hard shit was at, is making it stand up, and he was slapping with that part of the punch. Those are the punches that was really hurting Errol Spence.
That explains why Derrick James's reaction was like when he touched that part of the gloves, and then Terence Crawford moved his hand immediately. People didn't catch that, but Derrick James was like, "Oh, okay." And then Errol Spence tapped him, like just hit him on the hit him like kind of in the rib cage area, like chill.
Right.
So that tells you everything you need to know. And then on top of that, it also revealed what you were saying, Ross, because you know what? In our live yesterday, if you have an opportunity or time to do that, you're gonna see one comment. I think I sent it to you yesterday. There was one person that said, I believe it has to be both sides that are in and involved in on it. And I have to give you the credit for that because you mentioned that two lives ago, bro.
When the other side's not involved, or when the boxer don't know about it, they make a big stink of it. The fact that it's not a big stink being made by the other count is because it's been accepted. And it was accepted beforehand. You know what I'm saying? Boxing, I told people, boxing is one of the most racist sports. They need a great white hype, or they need someone who's the mascot of the great white hype. Like the white mobsters had Sonny Liston. That was their guy. That was the guy they wanted to see win. They didn't want to see Cassius Clay win. So they allowed Sonny Liston to cheat. Sonny Liston was allowed to put the lie in Cassius Clay's eyes. Something he's not allowed to do. He was allowed a handicap. Muhammad Ali wasn't. Muhammad Ali, by the grace of God, still won because he was so young. He sweated so profusely. He sweated the chemical out of his eyes. And it took 2 rounds to recover, and after those 2 rounds and a half to recover, and after that, he started back to whooping his ass. But he was supposed to lose that first fight.
Yep.
He was supposed to lose that first fight. So the second fight, now that Ali's the favorite and all that, now they make the nigga go down on a phantom punch. On one punch, where this nigga's known for having a chin. Yep. Muhammad Ali ain't got nothing to do with that. But now Muhammad Ali is the guy now. Now they got to make money off of this nigga by knowing when he's going to lose. That's what that was about. They knew he was going to lose, so they controlled when he was going to lose, so they could bet against him to make the money.
So that's where the whole they sat him out. They basically made sure he got out of his prime because of the whole military comment and all of that. That was basically punishing him for him being unapologetic, right?
I punished him for being unapologetic, and also punishing him for They want to choose our leaders. They want to choose who's great amongst black men. Muhammad Ali came out of nowhere, and he stepped on setting Liston's time,
Mm-hmm.
and he wasn't gonna be in control by the mafia. All those guys before him had somehow was controlled by the mafia, except for Jack Johnson, except for Jack. Why do you think Sugar Ray Robinson had so many fights against Italians? So many fights against Italians, so many fights. They're putting their own family members in there so they could get paid. Look at Sugar Ray
Mm-hmm.
Robinson had over 160, 180 fights, some shit like that. I think 200. You know what I'm saying? They
Damn.
Muhammad Ali wasn't supposed to be the man. He came out of nowhere, so they were just looking for a way to get him out of there. And when he said that shit about the Vietnam War, that was their way. We tried to set him up. We tried to set him up to lose. Tried to rig a fight against him. It didn't win. This nigga was too good. We couldn't have beat him that way. But if he would have been a sellout, they would have allowed him to stay up there. But because he was a stand-up dude, they didn't want him to be the champion of the United States. They didn't want him to be the man. Just like they didn't want Errol Spence to be undisputed. And somehow, some way.
Now, I'm glad you said they didn't want Errol Spence to be undisputed. Errol Spence being undisputed, what does that do to boxing, period? Do you feel like it reinforces how they basically robbed Floyd Mayweather of undisputed, and then it would be like another sticking down their throat, a polarizing figure that they didn't want to be undisputed, and it would cause a frenzy? So that's why they went ahead and rewarded Terence Crawford, the typical quote-unquote house Negro that they wanted to have undisputed. Do you feel like that, or do you feel that you could add to that?
Yeah. Here's the thing. When someone has the prestigious crown of being the undisputed the number one pound for pound fighter or the undisputed champ, it's like being a Super Bowl quarterback. Why you think there's very few black men at quarterback? Because they know what power comes with being the Super Bowl winning quarterback. So now everything you say could become a rallying cry.
Makes sense.
You got Errol Spence calling out the sport of boxing. I believe Errol Spence not only was punished, but I believe Errol Spence knew he was going to be punished. That's the reason why he was Derrick James. He did Derrick James like this. You know what I'm saying? People must realize when it comes to sports, specifically boxing, you have to take shit that you see that don't look right with a grain of salt. You have to take it with a grain of salt.
Now, do you believe they had it in on Earl even before then? Because let's be honest, Earl had Deontay Wilder's back in the Wilder Fury trilogy. He was supportive, very open, very frank, very supportive about Deontay Wilder. They were the only two that were really frank and open about their support. They weren't really fickle about anything. And it's interesting that Deontay Wilder returned the favor, right? And was very open and frank about his support for Errol Spence in that fight. And that's why I really respected Deontay Wilder's stance. We talked about it offline, but I want to say it in front of all of these people. I respected his stance on he didn't do that 50-50 bullshit. When they asked him, who do you think's going to win? He said, I know Terence Crawford, but no disrespect, but I'm picking Earl, and this is the reason why I'm picking Earl. And he did it emphatically. He didn't hesitate. He didn't go into, I know both of these guys. I have an affinity for both of these guys. He basically picked Earl, and he explained why he thought Earl had the advantage of the fight. Do you think that also played a role as well?
Yeah, well, the thing is, just the reason why a lot of black people look at their own people as enemies and everybody else as potential friends, every other race. So we're naturally suspect of our own people, suspicious of our own people. So we'll tell our hopes, our dreams, and our plans to white people, not realizing that's a cardinal sin. Once they realized how bad Errol Spence wanted to be undisputed, they knew they was going to use it against him.
They took advantage.
He wanted to be undisputed so bad, he gave away his A side. He wanted to be undisputed so bad, he allowed he allowed these gloves. They could have easily caught those gloves. They would have checked.
He wanted to be undisputed so bad, no VADA testing.
No VADA testing.
He
They
wanted to
used
be
it against him.
undisputed so bad, he gave Terence Crawford concessions that, let's be honest, you normally don't give these concessions to a fighter. You just don't do that in boxing.
Even the A side don't get concessions like that. The bigger fighter come out last. Always be that way. It ain't no coin toss.
Yep.
Ain't no coin toss. Everybody know that. Even if you fight against a champion, the bigger fighter always come out last. Because one part don't get nothing to do with the other. One is a business arrangement. The other is the actual accolade of boxing, right? So if Floyd Mayweather, even if Floyd Mayweather came back right now to fight Bud, even though Bud undisputed, Bud wouldn't come out last. Unless Floyd said, I'm coming out first.
Facts.
Floyd will say, I'm coming out first. We can't use the problem with black people is we love the victim blame. We're the type of people that will blame a girl for being molested and raped on what she had on, and not the sickness of the nigga who had sex with an underage woman, underage girl. We'll say, well, she wears provocative stuff. She shouldn't have been wearing it. One thing don't got nothing to do with the other. It don't matter what a 16-year-old girl wear. I'm not laying with her. Facts. It don't matter how developed she is. I know she's that age. I'm not laying with her. But our society, our people are sick. So to say Errol Spence got a bit poor business decisions because he didn't do exactly what Floyd did. One has nothing to do with the other because the sport of boxing is just dirty. But if somebody has bad business sense or not, certain things shouldn't be allowed.
Exactly.
It shouldn't be allowed. The problem is this all comes out of psychology and niggas not wanting to be gaslighted and niggas not wanting to be made fun of. When Deontay Wilder came out and said he was cheated, even the black community came out and sided with the white community and said he was making excuses. Really, the majority of people who watch boxing don't even know somebody being cheated or not. They don't even know it. People thought Cotto versus Margarito was real until Shane Mosley caught Margarito cheating. Yep. Nobody knew. Nobody was none the wiser that fight wasn't real.
Yep. And they duped boxing fans for weeks. Boxing fans were saying, man, Cotto is so lethal. Cotto is so nice. Cotto is so fire. And then you end up, Margarito's so lethal. Margarito's so nice. Margarito's so fire. And then what ended up happening? Boxing fans went from being duped by what they saw to then saying, damn, Cotto got robbed. Cotto got fucked up. Because at that time, they didn't realize they were cheated. But they thought what they saw in front of them was something that was real. They thought what they saw in front of them was something that was actually what it was. But in actuality, it was not that. And then when they had to come to the realization of it, what ended up happening? They end up having a diametric emotion.
They get black people chasing the glory of things while they keep away the treasure. What do I mean by that, man? They'll have you chasing an MVP trophy knowing they decide who the media decides who becomes an MVP. Not your play. You could be dynamic and the media decides on their narratives who's going to be the MVP. They'll have you chasing that while you're not getting the pay you deserve, while you're not getting the calls you deserve on the court, all this shit. But you're chasing the MVP, saying all the right things. Because God knows if you get on the wrong side of the media, you ain't going to get no awards, right? And none of that shit coming. If you start calling out the media, MVPs ain't coming. If you call them liars, that if you start pointing out shit, so you don't want to get gaslighted. You don't want to get Deontay Wilder. When Deontay Wilder called out shit that was obvious, even the old black community turned against him. So you have to be to say somebody's mind ain't as strong as somebody else's mind. Don't mean their mind is weak. It just mean that there's levels.
Facts.
It doesn't mean that there's levels. And some people want the money and the glory, and some people realize the glory is fake. It's all fraudulent. So fuck the glory.
Yep.
They could use this glory to manipulate me.
Yep.
So let me make them think I don't give a fuck about that and just do this. That way they got to treat me fairly. Because if a white boxer was as business savvy as Floyd, they'd have been called. They'd have been patting his back. They'd have been tooting his horn, saying how great of a businessman he was.
Facts.
But because it was Floyd, he chose all his fighters. He chose easy fighters. He chose anything. And you know what the black community do? We just take whatever they say about black men and just regurgitate it. Because that's what we've been taught. We've been hearing negative shit about black men all our lives. So it's natural for us to hear something negative and to repeat it. You know what I'm saying?
You made
Him
great
not
point.
wanting to go through that had him doing the opposite of what Al Heyman was telling him to do. Truth be told, he was supposed to leave 154 and say, fuck Terence Crawford.
Yep.
If I got to do all this to get this fight, fuck you, because I'm getting put in a predicament where I can't win anyway.
And check this out, Ross. It's funny how Bud Man fans tell you the truth over a week after the fight. Where was these truths at the time? When you say Earl said Al Heyman told him to not give up certain things, but he did anyways, where were you keeping that same energy at the time of the fight? You see how people conveniently hold the truth? Mm-hmm. You see how the truth, you always talk about that, man. One thing Ross always tells me, when we have our brother talks, said, man, whatever happens in the dark will always come to light. Now it's coming to light. It's over a week after, and y'all finally telling the truth. If we didn't keep the foot on the neck, if we didn't separate the weak from the strong, y'all wouldn't sit here and eventually come to the fucking truth. Look at what y'all saying now. Earl said Al Heyman told him to not give up certain things, but he did anyway. So now y'all realize Al Heyman wasn't the blame. Al Heyman was once again looking out for his fighters. But at the time, y'all tried to make it seem like, oh, is Al Heyman in on this? Is boxing in on this?
Yeah. So the thing is, what people don't realize is they always go for one. There's a spectrum, right? There's a spectrum on anything. Even between two people who seem like they're similar, there's a spectrum in between those two people that there's differences, right? They're still opposite end of a spectrum, even if they're similar people. Now, their similarities could be opposite people that's totally different from them, but there's a spectrum between everything. So what people do when they feel like they're about to be on the losing end of a conversation, they'll exaggerate a point. Instead of them saying, so you saying somebody in Errol Spence camp turned on him? They'll say, so you saying Al Heyman did it?
Mm-hmm.
What the fuck do Al Heyman got to do with the very specifics of the fight?
Exactly.
When have you ever seen Al Heyman looking and observing gloves and shit?
Exactly.
That's the trainer's job, and it's really not the trainer's job. The trainers had to do it because the commissions don't do their job.
Exactly.
The commission, the Nevada State Commission, or wherever state commission you boxing at, is their job, and it's the sanctioning body's job to make sure it's a fair fight.
So why are they getting 3% and all these cuts, and they're not even doing their job?
They don't even do their job.
That's crazy. Like anybody that normally gets paid, you get paid because you rendered your services were rendered. Their services are not even being rendered, and they're getting paid. So Errol Spence was right when he said, "Why the fuck do we pay these motherfuckers 3%? They're not even doing their job."
The trainer and the commission supposed to watch them wrap their gloves,
but they don't do it.
You don't know who's in there doing what. Camera is either the camera's off like in Tyson Fury, the camera not even on, or the camera zoomed all the way in on the fighter's hands. So you don't know who's around him watching anything.
Mm-hmm.
You assume they're doing their jobs. And the casual boxing fan don't even know that's a job to be done.
Yep.
The casual boxing fan don't even know that's a job to be done. So how America is set up is, if you're an unapologetic black man, you're not meant to reach the top. If you do reach the top, they spend their whole time trying to knock you off.
Yep.
You notice it. they allowed Jay-Z to reign until Jay-Z said he didn't want to reign anymore. Or so
Exactly.
really, Kanye came and kind of took it, but they never
Yeah,
allowed
you
Kanye to
smashed it. You
reign.
smashed it.
They never allowed Kanye to reign without controversy because his type of message, Chicago niggas, we're very conscious people. We're
Mm-hmm.
never allowed to actually get the credit we deserve because
Mm-hmm.
we're always saying things that upsets the apple cart, that upsets the uh the status quo,
Mm-hmm.
so to speak. Kind of like the Italians were allowed by the system to do underhanded shit with total abandonment, but by the law.
Mm-hmm.
Even the law was even helping them. But when Frank Lucas took it over, they created a whole team to break him down and shit. Something they could
Yeah,
have did to the Italian mafia, but they didn't.
because they didn't like the fact that a Negro was on top like that.
Then the fact that a Negro didn't wasn't answering to nobody.
Exactly, and everybody had to come see him.
Everybody had to come see him, so it was an issue then. Same thing with boxing. Cassius Clay would have never named himself, would never became a Muslim, would never been speaking out about black things, and would have just been like Joe Louis.
Cassius Clay.
It would just been it just have been like Joe Louis. He would have never got the backlash that he got.
Yeah, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Even though this is not related to boxing, it's the same thing. If he would have stayed Lou Alcindor, he would have been all right, right? According to their eyes. But
He'd have
all
been
of a
known,
sudden,
he'd have been
he
known
changed
as
his name.
he'd have been known as the GOAT until Michael Jordan got his sixth ring. Then
Exactly.
they was calling Michael Jordan the GOAT after his second ring.
Mm-hmm.
And because they wanted you to forget that Kareem Abdul-Jabbar even existed.
Exactly.
If Bill Russell went in and fought against if Bill Russell went in and fought because he fought against racism the most in everybody in basketball. If he wasn't so open against racism, he would have been called to go for a long time. But they jumped all those people because at the time, Michael Jordan was just playing the game, wasn't speaking out at all.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna keep it a buck. I like Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan brought us 6 rings, but if he would have been outspoken against racism, he would have never got he would have never got the acclaim that he got, no matter how good you are. Because how good
Even
you
with the
are,
6 rings, they would have made sure he didn't get that shit.
right, right. He would have never got the acclaim that he got. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? Kobe Bryant went through so much shit because Kobe Bryant spoke against the media way more often.
Mm-hmm.
Way more often. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people, a lot of feminine men won't understand this line of talking we're talking. So if you're feminine,
Exactly.
if you like looking at dick prints, you're not gonna understand what I'm talking about. It's gonna go right over your head.
Yep.
Like somebody saying Mike is the GOAT. No one's saying Mike isn't the GOAT. We're saying
Exactly.
Mike was allowed to be the GOAT
Mm-hmm.
because the way he played the game and because he didn't speak on certain things. He basically was paid to be silent, and they rewarded him for being silent. We're saying if Errol Spence was more like Mike, then Errol Spence probably would probably fare different for him. But Errol Spence has been calling out the boxing media since he came to boxing.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
And it's true. Dingaling watchers are so obsessed with Bud that they can't fathom that Bud cheated. All right. Let me put the user on timeout. We're not gonna tolerate disrespect here. If you can't comment like a grown man and you get in your mangina because all of a sudden your dingaling is being affected by the fact that you have to protect Terence Crawford's dingaling, like Jaguar Assassin just basically said, the dingaling watchers are so obsessed with Bud that they can't fathom that Bud cheated. If you're so in your mangina about that, we can't help you with that. But you're not going to disrespect Kobe Bryant's great name, because at the end of the day, what Ross is saying is an emphatic point. When you're speaking the truth, you either have to have an intellectual, opposite, diametrically opposed position, and we'll respect that. But don't sit here and start spewing manginas. We're not going to do moisture on this live. We're not going to tolerate that. You have to be able to be men, and you have to be able to, if you're going to agree to disagree on a respectful level. We're trying to teach you guys how to do something that apparently it seems like you guys have been having issues all of your lives. Some of you guys might be in your 30s, some of you guys might be in your 40s, some of you guys might be in your 20s, but all of your lives, you have been doing something completely opposite from what we are helping to teach you guys to become, which is men. When you come into this live, you're not only learning boxing. When you come into this live, you're actually learning how to produce and protrude what's called masculinity. So if you listen to us, you will with time. It's not going to happen overnight because you've had moisture that you've developed overnight. Overnight, you it's not going to happen overnight, but with time, you will become more masculine. We can guarantee you that. But you got to be able to take in what we're saying and not be able to sit there and come in on your strength on what you want to put out there.
Crawford isn't being accused more than the truth is being spoken. If the truth being spoken accuses Crawford, then it is what it is. At the end of the day, gloves don't do that. They don't.
Even salute when you to Marquise for the $10 cash up.
At the end of the day, even when you open up your hand to catch a punch, your glove doesn't open all the way up. Like the see how much power, how much strength I have to use to do that. Your glove doesn't open all the way up like this. It doesn't. It is not. And when it does, you see how it's still rounded at the top? It's not straight and hard. That glove, something was wrong with that glove. Why can't y'all admit that?
Yep.
That's a fact. The fact that Errol Spence looked like he was not all the way there, like he was loopy before the fight. That's a fact.
Exactly.
Terence Crawford said out of his own mouth he didn't feel Errol Spence's power. We know Errol Spence to break people's eye sockets.
Yes.
So if he don't feel his power, then Errol Spence wasn't what? He wasn't 100%. These are facts. If these facts make you feel like Terence Crawford is being accused, then it is what it is.
And here's the funny thing about it. How can you take away someone's jab? The jab is very clear. The jab is very fucking clear that it is the most fundamental, it's the most fundamental punch in boxing. Outside of working someone to the body, the jab sets up everything. You cannot take away someone's jab. So hold up. Terence Crawford was able to take away Errol Spence's jab, but he couldn't take away Kell Brook's jab. Didn't Kell Brook give him a welt over the eye? How do you think that happened? That was because Kell Brook was jabbing the fuck out of him. He couldn't even take away Sean Porter's jab. These guys don't have the level of jab that Errol Spence has. So how did he take away Errol Spence's jab?
Hold on. The brother said professional gloves are different from the gloves you got. Yeah, these are training gloves. Professional gloves are different. They're harder to manipulate.
Exactly.
So a professional glove would be harder to go straight up like this than what I'm doing. I wouldn't even be able to do it this easy. I have to really yank it back to do it. This requires some strength, but not a lot, because it's not a professional glove. If it was a professional glove, this would be damn near impossible. And I wouldn't be able to hold it this long. It'll be slipping out of my hands and shit.
Exactly.
So yeah, you're right. A professional glove is different. It's actually harder to do what Terence Crawford glove was doing in that fight. If you look at that glove when he's blocking like this, and you say there's nothing wrong with that, you just wanted to see Errol Spence lose, and that's fine.
Exactly.
But say that. Say I don't give a fuck that Terence Crawford cheated. I just want to see Errol Spence lose. But don't act like that fight was on the up and up.
Yep. And we could respectfully say that Crawford and Spence participated in a fixed fight. It's not our fault that you guys love to accept the blue beta cuck male, the matrix that's put in front of you, the illusion that's put in front of you, the infinite Sukuyumi, the visual trance that's put in front of you. That's not our fault.
Bro
but
said,
if you accept that it is what it is.
Listen, this nigga said Terence Crawford didn't cheat because Tyson Fury does it too. Tyson Fury is a known cheater. Tyson Fury is a known cheater.
Didn't we just say yesterday that they were connected by the same Irish mobster?
Yeah.
In Top Rank?
Tyson Fury is known. He's known to manipulate his gloves. One fight got stopped before the fight could get started because the ref realized Tyson Fury gloves were manipulated. And
Tyson Fury is banned from the U.S. from fighting. So why isn't Terence Crawford banned from the U.S. from fighting? Come on, man. Y'all got to see the politics for what it is.
If Tyson Fury beat Wilder fair square. Show me the video proof that it was fair and square.
Exactly.
I watched the fights. Show me the video proof. Show me the proof that gloves do what Tyson Fury gloves was doing.
Let's
And
be
show me
honest.
the,
In Wilder and Fury, the first fight, Wilder should have a actual knockout, not a TKO, an actual knockout in the first fight.
right.
That was the actual knockout. Who gets
Right.
15 count? Who gets a 15-second count? It's a judge that's in the pocket of an Irish mobster. See, y'all people don't pay attention to stuff, man. It's not our fault that you guys don't Google. It's not our fault that you guys don't research.
Wow.
Terence Crawford has an active lawsuit against David Avocado, who basically said, I felt those gloves felt like bricks and plaster on my face. They felt artificial. So what that did is it reconfirmed the illustrations and the examples that Ross was just showing you right there with the gloves. That means
Right.
the gloves were tampered with. They were loaded.
Go and watch any fight. You'll never see that. Even back in the day when they had the brown gloves,
Yep.
the brown gloves open up a little more, but they never open up all the way like that.
Yep.
Because a lot of people they'll use Ali. They're like, look at Ali's. Yeah, Ali's shit will open up. His shit will open up. His shit will open up like this. Just it'll open up like this. It'll open up like that. It never opened up all the way like that, straight up. Never.
Yep.
And was hard as fuck. It's like it was a solid object right there. And it was crooked too. Yeah, opened up. Blood shit had opened up and it was crooked to the side.
Exactly.
These from Everlast. They're training gloves.
Yep.
Because when you're training by yourself, you don't have anybody to tie up your gloves for you. You got to be able to do the shit yourself.
Exactly.
They're training gloves, man. The real gloves are even harder. Can you understand English? The real gloves are even harder. They're even harder to manipulate.
Mm-hmm.
Than the training gloves. So
Yep.
the real gloves are even more impossible. The only
Yep.
way you can do that is if you fighting with worn out gloves with padding missing out of them, so you can manipulate and all that shit. These gloves are supposed to come right out of the package. If they come
Yep.
right out of the package, then you can't do none of that shit.
Yep. It's called skits so far. It's called neuro linguistic programming. This is what they're doing. They're playing on people's brains, and the programming is doing a very good job. Me and Ross talked about this yesterday, and we're going to reiterate it today. The thing is people don't understand boxing. Boxing. They basically bank on how stupid you are. They'll put stupid situations in front of you, and they'll say, okay, let's see how stupid these people are. Let's see how much they're going to fall for the stupidity. This is why they gave you Canelo versus Charlo. We mentioned that. They didn't give you the Charlo that he was supposed to fight, but they gave you a Charlo name. And when they saw your stupid ass said, oh, this is a great fight. So now they put titles to basically solidify it, to certify it. Undisputed versus undisputed. And now all of y'all run like cockroaches and scatter all over the place and accept it for what it is. Fight fans have to understand that they have to wake up from the slumber that they're in. The first fight that you saw was not a real fight. And this is how you're going to know. And this is how you're going to say, you guys are going to come back to our respective platforms individually, and you're going to come back to this live collectively. And you guys are going to say, you know what, Ross? You know what he knows? We hate to have to do this once again with you guys, but we're going to have to eat crow again because you guys said it. Because when the second outcome of the fight is Spence knocks out Crawford, it's going to dawn on everybody's mind. Oh, shit. Spence can box all of a sudden? Crawford can't take away Spence's jab? Spence is sturdy? Spence can be able to hit now? Spence can use thudding power? Crawford was punished? What happened in the first fight? Why didn't all of those things showcase itself? When you guys start seeing that, then it's going to start dawning on you guys that, you know what? They got what they needed out of you. They milked the cow. And then now you guys are going to be mad. This is what's going to happen, Ross. The Crawford fans are going to say, Errol Spence cheated. They're going to make up all the excuses. And guess what that sets up? A third fight. Boxing know how stupid y'all are, man. And they're going to run with y'all stupidity. Y'all have to accept this for what it is. If you choose to be stupid, then that's on y'all.
Yeah, man. The problem with a lot of people is they they suffer not having a dad around. A lot of black men they suffer not having a father around
Exactly.
because they look forward to fantasy. They look forward to. They were the guys who watched Dragon Ball Z, and when the show went off, it didn't go off in their mind. In their mind, they wish they, you know what I mean? They dreamed they were flying around. They were
Mm-hmm.
punching holes through tanks and shit. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yep.
listen, in reality, in boxing, it's corrupt.
Yep.
That's his point blank period. Every fight isn't rigged, but certain fights are rigged depending on who the person is. It depends on their stance. And depending
Exactly.
on if they're gonna make more money if this person lose, then it will be rigged.
Yep.
They were scared to rig a Floyd Mayweather fight because Floyd Mayweather was so much better than everybody. Unless they could find out what round Floyd was gonna actually lose in, they would make no money if Floyd Mayweather lost.
Facts.
Because people were scared to bet against Floyd Mayweather, so there was no money really coming in against Floyd to
Yep.
lose.
Yep.
So they let him win.
Yep.
It would have made no sense for them to rig against him because nobody was stupid enough to bet against him.
Yep.
There wasn't enough people to ever turn that tide. But if it ever would have been, then you'd have been seeing the sun. Roger Mayweather said something that was very profound, and people didn't understand what he was saying. He's like, "My fight against Chavez. We watched the fight. I was beating Chavez easy. I was beating him easy." Then dude was like, "Well, why you ain't answer the bell?" He said, "Boxing. That's how boxing is sometimes. Sometimes you can't answer the bell."
Mm-hmm.
He threw that fight.
Mm-hmm.
He threw that fight because Chavez had to win.
Exactly.
Floyd didn't have nobody under no hydration clauses.
Never. That's a Canelo thing.
That's a lie.
That's a lie.
Y'all openly lie about Floyd Mayweather Jr.
Yep. That's a
He never had
Canelo
nobody
thing.
on a hydration clause. Everybody who
Nope.
fought Floyd came in way bigger than him.
Yeah, exactly.
Canelo was 173 pounds when he fought Floyd.
Yep.
Canelo had to catch weight, not Floyd.
Yep.
Canelo was already fighting everybody else at 154, at 152.
Yep.
Everybody else, Canelo never fought at 154. But when he
The original person that did that was De La Hoya.
When he wanted to fight Floyd Mayweather Jr., all of a sudden he wanted to fight at 154. And Floyd's like, "No, give me the same deal you've been giving everybody else." Because Canelo was catch weight than everybody else. So they was allowing Canelo to fight at the 154 weight class, but not never fighting at 154 actually. Yeah, man.
Canelo stole that from De La Hoya, man. That's what he stole from De La Hoya. De La Hoya probably was like, "Yo, this is what you got to do to put yourself in position. This is what you got to do to proposition yourself when you have these actual fights so that you can win." So at the end of the day,
he didn't. Hold on. It's too many weak people in the comments that's allowing these guys to say what they say. Canelo wasn't suckered into anything. Canelo was already fighting niggas at 152.
Exactly.
Not claiming to be a junior middleweight. 152 is out of weight class. He had his own weight class at junior middleweight. Floyd fought him at the same weight class he fought everybody else.
Yep.
So Canelo's supposed to fight real guys at 154. He's supposed to fight them at a catch weight. But when he fight Floyd, he's supposed to fight Floyd at real 155, 154.
Exactly.
Like, no. Floyd said, "Give me the same deal you've been giving everybody else."
Yep.
Give me the same deal. Because really, he's supposed to be fighting Floyd at 147. Floyd was 87. So really, Canelo weight bullied and still lost. You're supposed to fight Canelo at one. Canelo's supposed to fight Floyd at 147.
Yep.
He made Floyd come up and still lost.
And still lost. Check this out. All
But
these people that's sitting there talking about Spence is a straight line fighter. Spence has no head movement. Spence has no lateral movement. I want y'all to keep that same energy when Spence knocks out Crawford. I'm telling you, these motherfuckers not gonna know what to say. They not gonna know what to say when Spence knocks out Crawford. And Crawford, I want you to keep that same energy. You was on Porter's podcast saying Earl does the same thing every time. When he knocks your ass out, I want to hear you run your mouth and say he does the same thing every single time in the rematch. Because that's exactly what's gonna happen. See, right now, I don't have to stomach it. Ross don't have to stomach it. But right now, Crawford fans from now all the way up in December, they're going to believe the lie. They're going to believe the tea that was sipped in front of them. But here's the fairy tale story. And I'm going to draw this fairy tale story out for you. Okay, there's a guy that was undisputed at 140. How about we make sure he gets 2-time undisputed at 147? You see what that does? Terence Crawford, before the Spence fight, nobody in boxing knew who the fuck he was in terms of casual fans and people outside of boxing, period. Now, all of a sudden, Terence Crawford's on Good Morning News. He's on Good Morning shows. He's on CBS. Even the Breakfast Club unanimously knew Spence. They didn't know Crawford. But when Crawford was on there, Crawford was like, yeah, y'all now saying me, this and that. It's because they had to build up the smoke and mirrors boxer. He's still a smoke and mirrors boxer. Now he fights Spence in the rematch. Spence knocks him the fuck out. You know what the new storyline is? Errol Spence beats a 2-time undisputed champion, and now Errol Spence not only washes him, but Errol Spence now is the guy. That's what the new storyline is going to be. See, that's what people got to understand. You got to look at the storylines. And then we set up, okay, we got to find out who's the victor between the two of them. Is it Spence or is it Crawford? And then you get what's called a fucking trilogy. There's going to be 3 fights. Boxing knows trilogies work because of Muhammad Ali and Joe Frazier. Boxing knows trilogies work because of Deontay Wilder and Tyson Fury. So boxing knows this. And what me and Ross said yesterday, we're going to be on wax again for August 11, 2023, because we said it August 10, 2023. Do not be surprised if boxing starts having more and more trilogies. The reason why they're going to do this is so that they can be relevant. They have to resuscitate this sport because let's be honest, massive media has not been covering boxing. You know who's been covering boxing? You know who's been the media for boxing? YouTube. Boxing wants to get back on the scene. Boxing wants to become claim and fame. Guess what they got to do? They got to sell you guys a fairy tale so that they can be able to compete. And look at what's out of everyone's mouth. Even country bumpkin guys that watch only MMA fights. You know what they're saying right now, Ross? I can't wait for the next Spence versus Crawford fight. Why are they saying that?
They're only saying that because Crawford won.
Exactly.
They have a disdain for watching a dominant, unapologetically black man be dominant. So when Spence wins the first fight, they won't want to see the second because there's no possibility in their mind that the guy that they want to win will win.
Yep.
But Crawford won the first fight. These people look all the way to your history. When you got one black man that's not known for speaking up for black people, white people always root for him.
Yep.
I did 20 years in the Navy. The Navy is a microcosm of America. When you're a man like me, you run into all the loopholes. You run into all the roadblockers. You run into everything because you actually stand up for your people. But if you're a sellout, white people actually treat you almost like you're white. So when you're one of those guys who are always saying the right thing, saying shit that white people want to hear, they want to see you win. Especially if you're fighting against an unapologetic black guy. They want to see you win. That's the next best thing to having a white person be champ. That's the next best thing.
That's a great fucking point. Because at the end of the day, Andre Ward talked about this. And it went over a lot of people's heads. And Andre Ward always said, man, behind the scenes, these guys in the suits, they make you want to do things. They try to make you do things to throw fights and stuff like that. He said, I'm not gonna do that, man. I'm not a sellout. They're not gonna get me to do that. So you know what they did to Andre Ward? Because Andre Ward would not succumb to that. They put his ass in fucking lawsuits. Bob Arum put his ass in litigation. Bob Arum was trying to do that shit to him. Nah, we want to take your O. We want you to have a redemption story. We want you to resurrect. He was like, fuck that. I'm not doing that. Ward mentioned that multiple times. It went over people's heads. Ward said there's double standards that's associated with boxing because how come I can dominate? How did I dominate the way that I did in the Super Six? How did I make Craw-Fraud? How did I make all of these guys look regular? They don't prop me up. But then Canelo gets exposed by Mayweather, a guy that's way smaller than him. It's like, when have you ever seen me get beat up by a smaller guy? Canelo gets beat up by a smaller guy, but then they tell you he's what? The best fighter that he is. He was actually the first one to use the smoke and mirrors comment. Said Canelo smoke and mirrors, but then they try to prop him up like he's the next best thing. How do you get beat by a guy who is the best boxer in boxing, but yet you're still famous? Could you imagine if I had lost to Floyd? Could you imagine how they would have basically looked at me and said, "Oh, I was a bum" and stuff like that? Right. He said, "How do you lose to a smaller guy like that and you're still propped up?" Triple G. How does Triple G get to duck me all of these years, but yet Triple G gets to be relevant? Right. No one was clamoring for Triple G to fight me. When I sat there and called him out and said, "Why are you talking from afar? Why you keep mentioning my name every fight? How about you fight me right now?" But he always had a convenient excuse. He said, Triple G out of his mouth said, "Oh, we don't want to fight Andre Ward because he's too boring." Translation, you don't want to fight Andre Ward because you're going to get the shit boxed out of you.
Right. You can't box with him. That's what
exactly. Exactly.
That's the same excuse Canelo used when he ducked a undisputed fight with Andre.
Yep.
Canelo soiled Andre's career.
Yep.
Because whether he thought the fight was worthy or not, he's supposed to take that fight because it's an undisputed fight. He doesn't get the slack he's supposed to get for not taking that fight. You're never supposed to duck an undisputed fight. Never. If the fight can't be made. If the fight can't be made, you're not supposed to duck it. That's the reason why I look at this fight between Errol Spence and Crawford suspect that Crawford must have been up to something, because why didn't he fight Errol Spence at the earliest opportunity? Why you take a tune-up fight against somebody who can't help him against Errol Spence, and in a tune-up fight, his gloves malfunction and his gloves are found to be tampered with.
You know what that was, Ross?
Right. Hold on. He had to prepare. And now all of a sudden, in this fight against Errol Spence, you got power we never seen before. That's because with that fight you took, that's what you was working on. You was working on loading your fucking gloves.
Exactly. You said it, so I don't even have to say it. You was preparing. You was preparing yourself for being able to have. This is what happens when you're scared of somebody, Ross. We know this, right? When you're scared and you're petrified of someone, in order for you to go through something like that, you either have to force yourself to go through it by artificial means, or you have to enhance yourself to be able to go through it. We've seen this before, right? When guys slap box each other in the streets or whatever, right? And somebody's like, "Yo, man, you scared, man. You don't want to see this dude or whatever." What does the other dude do to give himself an added advantage? Instead of him slapboxing, he tries to punch the dude, or he tries to hit the dude in a place that he knows is going to be outside of the norm of where you would hit people, right? So that then he can have an added advantage. And then people are like, "Oh, what he did was fire." Nah, that's not what it was. It was he needed to have an added advantage in order to separate himself. Well, that's what Crawford did. Crawford knew that on fair terms, the way my body is built, the way that Spence's body is built, there's no way that I could win this fight. So I gotta get on a super soldier serum. I gotta get on that cocktail. I gotta turn around and I gotta be able to load and pad my gloves. I gotta be able to hit this dude with artificial shit. And I gotta make sure this dude is drugged at the same time. I gotta make sure this dude's on edibles. And I have to make sure everything is in my favor and everything is in my vantage point so that I could turn around and win this fight. So this is why I give all these stipulations. Me and Ross asked for that, and I don't know why more content creators are not asking for this. We're gonna re-ask for it again on this live. We need to see the list of all of the fucking demands that Terence Crawford asked. The reason why I'm saying this is because Errol Spence in that final presser, he got mad. And people didn't see that. Only me and Ross caught that shit. He was like, man, I had to give this motherfucker all these damn demands and shit like that. I'm the fucking A side. Why is the A side guy revolting like that? We've never seen this before. This is uncharacteristic. But no one talks about that.
You want to know why? They use Errol, the box. They use Errol Spence's desire to be undisputed. Because what they was gonna do was they were gonna do Errol Spence like they did Floyd Mayweather Jr. They were just gonna keep him from being undisputed. And they're gonna use Bud Crawford to do it because he got the last belt. But Crawford, what was supposed to happen was Bud was supposed to duck Errol so he got so tired of being at 147 that he just left. Then they're gonna make Errol disputed. Then they're gonna make Crawford an undisputed champion by fighting against lower level competition, like they always do. Errol stuck around, so now they had a rigged fight. Because by no means were they gonna let him be undisputed and undefeated at the same time.
Yep.
Y'all don't see this shit? It's easy. It's not hard to do. It's not hard to understand. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, donate to motivate people who want to come in and say their opinion for 5 minutes. There's a fee for that. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
You can come and speak. You can come and say your piece, but you gotta donate that. You gotta donate that bread.
That's it. It's as simple as that. We'll accept what you got to say, but make sure you donate, man. Because at the end of the day, we're sitting here and giving you guys that heat and that fire. Salute to Devontae Anthony for a $10 cash app. We appreciate that. Donate to motivate, man. Come on, man. We got 50 of you motherfuckers in here. How the hell y'all not donating to motivating? And make sure we get 50 fucking likes. We have 51 motherfuckers in here right now. Make sure we get the fucking likes. Let's be honest here. And I'm gonna say this real quick. If you have a boxing talk behind your name and you're gonna sit here and solicit your channel on our platform, get ready to be put on timeout. Yesterday you did that foul shit. Don't ever disrespect this platform like that. If you're gonna come in, talk about what we're talking about. But we don't have time for you to try to build up your garbage channel off of the strength of our creativity. So I want to put that out there first and foremost.
Exactly, man. At the end of the day, black men, even Errol included, we have to understand that they use these titles, they use these awards to control us. When you seen Kanye
Salute to Devontae Anthony again for another $10 cash app. Come on, man. It can't be the same motherfucker donate, man. What's up, man? Donate to motivate.
When you Star Girl, two betas talk about boxing, so you came here to be disrespectful. If this was my platform, you would be banned. You didn't even make the point. You just came here to be disrespectful.
Boom.
But
boom. I saw the comment. Boom. Done.
But at the end of the day, the reason why you see Kanye pissing on the Grammys, because Kanye had finally figured out this shit ain't about quality. It's not about good music. It's about who they control, and they give out certain Grammys depending on who they control.
Facts.
So that was him finally realizing, fuck these awards. So Errol Spence going after the Undisputed, that was his weakness. That was the weakness that they used. The reason why they couldn't get Floyd, because Floyd realized, like, oh, I beat Baltimore, who beat Zab Judah, who was undisputed, and now they don't know what happened to the belts, and they're saying the belts weren't paid for, and so I can't be undisputed. From that moment on, Floyd was no longer chasing boxing glory solely. He was chasing the glory that amounted to the money. Because at the end of the day, it's about you and your family. But they have a lot of black niggas chasing the glory that they control. Is it really glory if you deserve something, but they give it to somebody else? When Steve Nash got those MVPs, that Kobe should have got, was that really glory? Or did that or did that show you that they actually control who get the MVPs? And it don't
Yep.
matter what you do.
Facts.
You know what I'm saying? It doesn't matter what you do. They
Mm-hmm.
control the glory, so you can't necessarily chase the glory over your own well-being, because they'll use it against you.
Yep.
They'll use it against you. Bernard Crawford, Bernard Hopkins was undisputed, and he reigned for a while. They kept making, hints to Bernard Hopkins that is it time for you to retire or move up in weight. He kept wanting to dominate at middleweight, and guess what? They robbed him with Jermaine Taylor.
Exactly.
A fight he clearly won. They say he lost
Mm-hmm.
because boxing is going to always get their way.
Facts.
No one's surprised. Pay attention. Nobody is surprised that boxing is rigged. We're telling you that this fight was rigged, and when people hear something they don't want to hear, they try to generalize something that's specific. Fuck all sports. We're talking about boxing.
Mm-hmm.
And in this fight, particularly, Bud Gloves was loaded.
Padded.
Just
Everlast came out. Anytime a company comes out, me and Ross, we know this shit all the time. We always talk about it. Anytime a company comes out immediately to say something, you know what that's called? Damage control. They know they fucked up. So they try to come out to create what's called damage control. And you got to be smart enough to see that for what it is. Why does Everlast, a international endorser, a international maker, an international distributor of gloves, have to come out specifically for Spence versus Crawford and said we gave a batch of defective gloves? They didn't even have to do that statement. Why did they do that?
Yeah, first of all, I've been watching boxing my whole life. I never seen gloves with those type of malfunctions until I seen Fury, until I seen Bud Crawford.
Salute to Schizo Paul for the $5 cash out.
I never seen it. So I seen Fury and Crawford. And we're talking decades of watching boxing. Mm-hmm. Go look at all the old fights. Tell me when you saw somebody glove tear apart during the fight.
Yep.
When you see somebody glove flop around during the fight.
Mm-hmm.
When you see somebody glove open all the way up and the tip of the glove come to a point damn near. When you see shit that you've never seen before in a fight, it's because you're watching a rigged fight. Mm-hmm. Anomalies don't happen. In routine things, a boxing match is a routine thing. It's a ritual. Mm-hmm. Certain things supposed to look the same every time. Mm-hmm. The way a glove looks, the way a glove reacts when you punch somebody should look the same. You should see the indentation in the punch, not the indentations of the knuckles. You just should see the indentation of the glove. Mm-hmm. When there's no indentation, the glove still hard as fuck, but it's landing the punch. These things that don't look normal is because the fight's being rigged. When you see a guy who looks like he's high as fuck before the fight, but never look like that, that's because the fight's being rigged.
Exactly.
Anything out of the normal is an indication.
I couldn't tell the difference between and Ross is gonna laugh when I say this. I couldn't tell the difference between Errol Spence and Ross that fight night because I know Ross had edibles that night, and I looked at Errol Spence and I'm like, this nigga looked like he was on some edibles, man. I said something about Earl is off, man. Now you know he went to hot boxing with Mike Tyson and he checked Mike Tyson. He was drinking water at that shit. You don't know what Mike Tyson did. You don't know if he spiked that damn water for checking him, man. Because Mike Tyson was the very first one to come out, and you know what he said? He said, that's what that nigga get. Why would you say that? Well, because you're bitter at the fact that he checked you on your show?
Right.
Like, why would you say that? Why would that be the first thing to come out your mouth? Why as an old head, you don't just say, you know what? Boxing gave us a great fight. But you specifically threw a personal shot at him because what? He checked you on your show? Y'all got to see this shit for what it
Right.
is, man. There's a lot of shit going on behind the scenes that people are not really paying attention, man. I've never seen Spence sit around waiting, not getting a good sweat. And Ross mentioned that Spence was hitting the mitts and he was off hitting the mitts, and they told him stop. He was not balanced hitting that shit. They told his ass to stop. Why is all of this happening in the biggest fight of his career? Things that fundamentally, rudimentary, elementary wise never happens in any other fight, but it happens in this fight.
People want to believe everything lined up and it's just how it happened. And there's no coincidence in life.
Yep.
There's no coincidence in life, man. Y'all the same niggas who will believe that your best friend and your girlfriend went MIA at a party for 4 hours and they ain't fuck. You couldn't find your girl. She wouldn't answer her calls. You couldn't find your nigga either. He wouldn't answer his calls. And they show up together. Y'all niggas don't think that was a coincidence.
Exactly.
Come on, man. Open your fucking eyes.
Exactly.
This shit ain't hard to tell.
That's well said, man. That's well said. And you know what's the trippy part about this? I started calling him Craw-Fraud because of the fact that the difference between Tyson Fury and this fight is, in this fight, he already have an active lawsuit prior to the fight actually happening. Tyson Fury, we started getting information about him after the first fight. Well, Terence Crawford, before the first fight even happened, we have active stuff going out. So now, do you guys believe David Avocado, or you guys choose to not accept David Avocado's lawsuit that's out right now? Do you guys choose to not accept the fact that this guy right here is telling you Terence Crawford cheated? Like, the obvious information is put in front of you. Do you want to accept it or not? Do you want to accept that Bob Arum promotes smoke and mirrors boxers and allows crime mobsters in his promotional company to protect his fighters? Now we understand why these top ranked fighters are smoke and mirrors. They're protected. They're protected by cheating.
Yeah.
They're protected by outside sources. They're protected by all kinds of anomalies. That's why Terence Crawford, out of his own mouth, on the Porter podcast said, I have nothing bad to say about Bob Arum. I thought you was in a lawsuit with Bob Arum. Why you got nothing bad to say about Bob Arum now? Oh, because you won a loaded, padded, PED using type of fight, because you're on the winning side of the equation. So now all of a sudden you respect Bob Arum. But I thought you had a active lawsuit against him. Where's this active lawsuit? Why did you even leave? He came and preferenced his word to say Bob Arum was not the problem, or why Spencer Crawford didn't happen. So hold up, Terence Crawford. You waited until now to say that?
If that's the case, why you ain't dropped the lawsuit then? Why you dropped the lawsuit? But here's the thing right here. People say, why can't it be that Bud was a better man? If Bud was a better man, then he would have beat Spence at his best. Did he beat Spence at his best? Because if he didn't beat Spence at his best, then he's not the better man. If he beat Spence without the help of tampered gloves, he's not the better man. He got an allegation on him. He got a whole investigation on him cheating.
Mm-hmm.
He worked with Victor Conte.
Yep.
Who works with Victor Conte knowing this guy's tied to PED usage? He works with Tyson Fury's management.
Mm-hmm.
With the Irish Mafia, who's tied to cheating.
Yep.
All the things point in the bad directions for Bud. You have to be really sucking Bud's dick to ignore it. You have to really want to suck Bud's dick to ignore it. You have to really be sexually attracted to him to say, I see all this, but I'm ignoring it all. And he was just a better man. The better man beat the guy at their best.
Exactly.
Or when it's even, when they're both past their prime. Or they're both in their prime. You know what I'm saying? Not one guy who's known for being able to take a punch, all of a sudden can't take a punch to the shoulder.
Mm-hmm.
has no balance, can't walk. You
Mm-hmm.
believe that is at your best? Just say you never won anything in your life and find somebody you root for. Find somebody you root for and won.
Yeah.
Oh, and here's something it totally it totally crossed my mind because I kind of forced this shit out of my mental because of how suspect this shit was. It was this dude while I was living in Washington. It was a dude I met at the bar, and we used to always debate Spencer Crawford.
Keep going. I'm gonna make some coffee.
He used to always debate Spencer Crawford. And if sometimes we used to catch some of the fights together, shit, at his crib. You know what I'm saying? I'll give him half on the pay-per-view, and we'll catch some of the fights together. One time while he was drunk, and we was arguing about Spencer Crawford, he said, he said, you're supposed to like Spence, man. I said, he said, you're supposed to like Crawford, man. And I was like, wow, man. I was like, I think Spence better. He's like, man, all big dick niggas supposed to like Crawford. And I seen your package. And this whole time I thought this was a straight nigga. This is a normal straight nigga. And we were just watching the games together. This whole time, this nigga probably thought he was on a date. So this and he was a 36-year-old man, lived with his mom and shit, whatever. But nigga was on her. He was cool with me, so I wasn't judging the situation. We were watching the game. The whole time, I'm starting to realize a lot of these Spence fans are mama's boys, and they're low key freaky ass niggas, man.
Wait. You got to say that shit again, man. So that happened outside of Big Time Room 720. You had ended up dealing with another alternative situation.
Yeah, that shit happened some years ago before I left. Before I left Washington State, I forced that shit out of my mind because it was a traumatic experience.
That sounds like PTSD.
And then I'm at the bar and I'm like, bro, why are you sitting here talking about my dick and shit? This, that, and third. He's like, man, I sent the fucking, I sent that shit. He was drunk as hell. We were taking shots at 151 and all this shit started coming out. He's like, I seen that shit, man. He said, and I heard such and such. You fucked her in the bathroom. And she said your shit was big as fuck. Like, man, he's like all big dick niggas, blah, we supposed to be on Crawford. And I'm like, what the fuck? And all this shit, I'm like, this nigga, and Big Tyrone talking about, I told you. No, I'm not agreeing with you.
Yeah.
I'm saying that's suspect. And I'm saying y'all type of niggas.
Those kids call for $5 cash app. Damn. Shit.
Salute. And I'm saying y'all the type of niggas that's going crazy. There's a difference between a Bud fan and Bud fanatics. The Bud fans could say, you know what? At the end of the day, Errol Spence signed on for that fight. He lost. Yeah, he didn't look right, but hey, if Bud Crawford wouldn't have looked right, y'all wouldn't be saying nothing. Those are the Bud fans. The Bud fanatics are the ones who are ignoring everything. The Bud fanatic fans are ignoring the gloves. They're ignoring Spence looking out of it. They're ignoring that Spence could have been. They're ignoring all these facts. And then when they get pressured, they start talking about dick sizes and shit. Yeah, dude, we were talking about that. And out of nowhere, he was like, yeah, but you're supposed to be a big dick nigga. But you're a Spence fan?
Wow.
And I was like, hold on, man. Because he's saying that shit loud as fuck. The bartender got, we flirt all the time with the bartender. I'm like, yo, she gonna think I fuck with this nigga like that.
Yeah.
On that level, because she see us together, but really we just watch the fight together. So I'm like, hold on. What you talking about? He's like, don't act like you don't know what I'm talking about. Did you not fuck old girl in the bathroom? He's like, I heard her talking about your. I seen your print, man. He's like, everybody know, everybody know, man. Bud Crawford dick is big. Us big dick niggas supposed to be sticking together, blah blah blah. And I'm like, and he said, you know, I don't know nothing. I don't know. Bud Crawford got a big. So you ain't seen that shit. So you mean tell me you ain't seen my shit? I'm like, bro, I don't look at you that way.
Exactly.
And bro was going crazy talking about that shit.
Damn.
And you come to find out, a lot of these niggas are way wary. He probably a dick print looking ass nigga. Falsifications, Big Tyrone. All these niggas. The ones who ignore all the facts just to say Bud, it's because they believe that niggas who got big dicks supposed to win everything.
Yep. Ding-a-ling watchers, man.
So supposedly, cock watchers, man. I forgot all
Ross,
about
man,
that
how
shit,
did
bro.
you know this story from me, man? Damn, I wish we would have been saying that shit since Big Tyrone showed up.
No,
But I guess you just
I
remembered
forgot all
that
about
shit.
that. Ain't nothing I want to remember. This shit just brought me back. Seeing how these dudes are so thirsty to defend blood to where they ignore facts, that brought it back. That's how dude used to be.
Big Tyrone 720 made you remember that PTSD moment.
That's how dude used to be. Dude used to say.
Let me go get this coffee, man.
Dude used to say that Bud beating Jeff Horn. Bud beating Jeff Horn was better than him beating Spence. That he don't got to fight Spence because he beat Jeff Horn. That's something that you'll say when you looking at a nigga dick print and you get turned on. So now you make any excuses for the nigga like a Brown would do. Yeah, man. Y'all niggas need to donate, man.
I agree with what you're saying because AB said the same shit when AB was right there with Shakur Stevenson and Terence Crawford. Shakur Stevenson said to him, "Your hands are small," but then AB said, "But I'm long," and he made sure Crawford heard that shit, and him and Crawford dapped up. It's like, why say some fruity ass shit like that in that moment? Like that shit didn't make no sense. And what I'm coming to the realization of, and it's becoming more obvious, Big Tyrone 720, you served your purpose. You actually revealed to us, because now Ross's story that happened years ago, you actually revealed to us that there's a lot of homosexuality in boxing. We thought boxing ego was the progenitor of it, and since you said you're an ego army, it comes very clear that we know when y'all say V-taper, y'all are talking about dick prints. That's what V-taper is. Because the V-taper of a man is right there towards the pelvic area of the stomach area. So clearly you're talking about what comes under that. Because you remember that R&B artist D'Angelo. D'Angelo had an album where he literally was naked on the album, and all of the women were talking about what? The V-taper.
Right.
And why were they talking about the V-taper? Because it was talking about the dick print. See, when you talk about V-tapers, you're not talking about V-tapers, you're talking about the dick print.
And most men don't size each other up. Most men don't size each other up sexually.
Yep.
Most niggas size each other up like, man, if it come down to it, I'll beat dude ass. Or if it come down to it, that nigga, he knows he's swole. So I have to keep that nigga off me. And that nigga might slam me or some shit like that. If you get around my waist every time to flip me, I'll make sure I have to get around that nigga neck. So if I control his head, he won't be able to slam me like he wants to. We think shit like that. We don't be thinking about how big a nigga dick is, man.
Yeah, and if I'm sizing up Ross, I will tell myself I can't get close to this nigga. This nigga got hands. That's what I be thinking first off. I can't get close. This nigga got hands and his hands are fast.
Or you'll have to steal me and then hurry up and grab me and slam me and shit. You know what I'm saying?
Like niggas with fast hands, they can do some shit to you.
Right, you know what I'm saying? So that's how we size niggas up. We don't know how bisexual niggas size niggas up.
Only women size your dick print up because women look at your arms, your forearms, and they look at your facial structures, and then they look at, there's another thing that they look at for them to be able to tell. I think it's either the shoe size or something else.
Shoe size, hand size, and nose size. A woman told me she knew I don't even want to say it now because there's niggas on here who get turned on by it. A woman said she knew such and such about me because I had a big nose. And she said every man she ever met had a big nose. So I feel sorry for her when she runs to that one nigga who got a big nose who ain't packing. She gonna be sick.
Exactly.
But she said most masculine men have big hands.
Mm-hmm.
She said they have big hands. They have strong chin lines.
Yep.
And she said a lot of times the feet could fool you, but the nose never lies.
Well, if you want to know what ego did, ego sexualized Deontay Wilder. He called Deontay Wilder a black god of a man, and he said that Deontay Wilder's body was a body that you should worship because his body just looks so delicious. He said that on a live. He actually used the word delicious. And this is what you're getting. You're getting a bunch of boxing ego fanatics that are coming in. And you could tell because we've never seen Boxing Ego with a female. We've always seen him overly gloss his lips for a boxing live that has men in it. So clearly it's zesty behavior. And then he has ego watchers, and then all these niggas are sitting there like thousands and thousands of dudes watching ego watchers of him watching fighters like they got baby oil all over their damn body. What the fuck?
Yeah.
I was like, what the fuck is all this moisture going on here? And niggas are sitting there, oh yeah, look at him, man. He look ripped, he look chiseled. Not realizing what's happening is you're going from heterosexual to bi-curious to then homosexual. That's how that shit happens. It starts with a thought, and then the thought creeps in, then it sinks in, then the behaviors, then you become like Big Time 0720, meat check. And then from that point on, your lady says, hey, I'm getting pumped in the ass. Why don't you get pumped in the ass too? Because this shit happens in a lot of these sexual relationships. Shit, there's a show out there on BET Plus. I think it's like a strip club show where there was this stripper. He was being brought to a house with the wife and the husband. And the wife is like, yeah, I'm gonna just watch. And these cuck dudes now, they don't just watch, they want to participate. I'll pay you whatever. I just want to fuck you in the ass. I'll pay you whatever. Just fuck me in the ass. That's what Big Time 0720 is into. That's what these guys into. That's why you see when guys tell you, this is how you could tell when motherfuckers are suspect, right? Men that get into sex. When you hear these men say, I like my ass eaten out and bitches eat my ass out, you got to be very careful about that shit when you hear that. Right. Salute to Bernard Gaines for the $3 super chat, and salute to Lester G for the $10 super chat. We appreciate y'all, man. When you hear
salute to both. Just realize we're spending these super chats, so we're spending them.
Exactly.
Just salute to both, but just realize dudes like that I can't call subs. I call confirm. Yeah. Yep. Here's the thing, man. The thing is not what you do with women, unless you land in a nigga, unless you being penetrated and shit. The thing is what you saying about men.
Yep.
You talk about a nigga dick print. You talk about a nigga's body physique. You're talking about how handsome somebody look.
Yep.
Listen, man, it's one thing to know somebody's a nice looking person than for you to stress the fact. Who does that?
Exactly.
Stress the fact of a woman's beauty. It's most niggas will be like, man, I ain't telling that bitch she look good because that bitch gonna get a big head, but you'll tell a nigga he got a big dick. Like you living backwards.
Exactly.
You're not even supposed to notice a nigga packing.
You're not supposed to even pay attention to that shit.
How you notice a nigga packing?
Exactly.
Through his pants.
Yep.
Yeah, you gotta think about it. Any nigga that will share his woman, openly share his woman with another man, it's gay, man.
Exactly.
And they're beta males, and it makes sense that they own Crawford so heavy. Yeah, I forgot about that shit. Dude, I was cool with dude. Now I realize why dude was so cool. Yep. He probably low-key was liking me.
Man, he was trying to fuck you. That's what he was trying to do.
Nah,
let's be honest. He was hoping to drug your ass. He was hoping you was on some shit. You know how people get on a roofie or some shit? Man, he was hoping one of those people roofie you.
Hell no, he wasn't gonna do no shit like that. But yeah, man, we are talking about boxing. We talking about blood.
When you hear a motherfucker talk like that, you can't put nothing past them, man. When they talking about your big friend and all that shit.
After that shit came out, I stopped fucking with him.
There you go. I'm glad you did that.
He's like, bro, I was just drunk. I ain't mean none of that shit, bro.
Well, you know what they say? The alcohol brings out the truth.
Yeah.
That's why they call it spirit.
Motherfuckers talk about boxing. If you don't like what we talking about, get the fuck out of here.
And y'all talking about 151, and it's 151. So at the end of the day, and it's 151. So 151 is really bringing the truth out, man.
Think about it. How could we just talk about boxing when Terence Crawford fans have came out talking about the size of Terence Crawford did?
Big.
So y'all have made that into the part of this conversation.
Yes, and being dingling watchers,
right?
And doing meat checks.
Every time we start talking, dude always come out of nowhere. They talking about, I told you. That was not a time you should have said, I told you. You should have been, you should have been condemned.
Yeah, you should have
You
just
should be
stayed quiet.
condemned. You should be on your knees praying praying God take that mentality away from you where you gotta keep looking at dicks.
Yep.
You should pray that God take that away. You should pray that God take that away from your spirit.
Yep.
Because some demons don't leave except through fasting and praying.
Exactly.
You should not have, after you said that shit, you should have eaten a meal. You should have ate a meal since then. You should have been fasting and praying that God take that away from you.
Ooh.
But yeah, you still on this bitch steady trying to get a cosign.
You know, I gotta say it, man. The truth hurts, but the truth will set you free. And those whom the truth set free are free indeed. And guess what? You are one of the captives, brother. So the truth has to set you free.
Got to, man.
Woo!
Got to, bro. Because right now,
Ross, I gotta say this one because what you did was deep. But what Ross did, Ross came like a two-edged sword, man. Sharp, man. What he preached was that word. It was sharper than a two-edged sword. It pierced the dividing asunder of the soul and spirit, even unto the joint and marrows. And it's a discerner of the thoughts and the intents of the heart, man. That's what this brother hit you with. Damn.
Exactly, bro. So at the end of the day, motherfuckers gotta ask themselves, am I a fan of Bud to where I can admit certain truths that are uncomfortable?
Mm-hmm.
Or am I a fanatic of Bud to where no matter what people say, I'm gonna have an extreme narrative, and to the point to where I occasionally look at his dick print when anybody That's a fanatic, man. That's a fanatic. When you find yourself turned on by another man, and that's the reason why you support him, that's a fanatic.
And you know when people tell you to change the topic, you know why? Because that damn demon on them is offended.
Being uncomfortable.
It is. You speaking against that damn demon, man, and they mad. Like, why is this guy exposing us, man? We want to keep familiarity with us, man.
He's getting uncomfortable, man. It's getting hot in here, man. So motherfuckers talking about turn the heat down, turn the AC up.
But we don't want you to take off y'all clothes up in this motherfucker, okay?
Nah, keep y'all fucking clothes on.
Exactly.
And keep your eyes up, man. Every man should be looking each other in the eyes. Every man should be looking each other in the eyes, man. When you meet a man, his eyes should be on your eyes, man.
Eyes, exactly.
Right. That nigga should be looking down at your lips. He should be looking down at. He should be looking at your. He should be looking down at your V taper. The nigga's eyes should remain on your shit. Exactly. That's how men supposed to talk, man.
Exactly.
You
and when y'all not looking at the eyes, y'all supposed to be looking straight forward and kind of talking to each other on the peripheral.
Right.
That's how y'all talk. That's how y'all supposed to be communicating. Not none of this. We looking down. Not none of this. We looking at what you holding and packaging. That's why that Adam 22 guy, he got disrespected again by the porn star. I fucked this woman. You know what that dude said? Adam 22 said, "Man, I knew you. I want the world to know that I'm comfortable with what you did. You know what I'm saying? Like me and you, we don't have no beef. We don't have no animosity. You know what the guy said to him? He said, I'm gonna be honest with you. Me personally, if that was me, I wouldn't let my woman do that. But to each man his own. He basically let his ass know right then and there again.
Right.
Like, what the fuck are you doing?
Right. Like, what we talking about? You already paid me.
And he's a porn star on top of that saying that. He's like, this is my woman. I personally want to do it, but to each man his own.
Right. And this a nigga who's supposed to be super open to sex. He said, I would never do no shit like that. I ain't no fucking beta, man. And a nigga said, I can tell you I haven't done it any time. Oof. I can tell you did too much time.
You did too much time.
And then I know people who have done time and still didn't do no gay shit.
Exactly.
Still didn't walk around looking at niggas' dick prints.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? But proceed, keep telling us what's another reason why you can see we didn't do any time. As if that's a bad thing. Not to have done prison time. I did time in the military. I ain't have to do prison time.
Exactly. Thank you for reaffirming the fact that we are diametrically different than you.
Dick prints to the Bud fans is they need what does that mean? They need copies.
Hmm.
Yeah. But anyway, I think you saying some shit, but I don't really know what you're trying to say. But
Yeah.
yeah, but anyway, man. At the end of the day, if you're a man whom judges another man by their nether reasons, something that has nothing to do with you, low key, you're in the closet. You should probably come out. You in the closet. You in the
R.
closet.
Kelly had a series on that shit too.
You in
Damn
the
near,
closet.
how many parts he had? 12 parts about that shit. Maybe y'all
Nah,
need
that ain't 20.
to.
That ain't 20. Cause you gotta understand, there's a lot of niggas in the closet. You can't just do 12 parts. You gotta do you gotta do parts for Big Time Rome too.
Ooh, shit, man. Make sure y'all donate to Motivate, man. Nobody's giving y'all pure entertainment. Nobody's giving y'all realness. Nobody's giving y'all the truth like we giving y'all, man. Y'all gotta donate to Motivate, man. Come on, man. We up to like what 50 something bucks in donations. Come on, man. We gotta keep it going. Cause we killing y'all right now today. We killing y'all with that shit. When it's all said and done, man, let's just be honest here. If you guys can tell us that you need to pray the gay away, if you guys need to tell us that you got some demons that you're working on, this is why this platform is set up to help y'all to become what y'all was supposed to be from day one, actual men.
Because what they don't realize, a lot of niggas that go to the joint, it's only 10% of the niggas are stand-up niggas who go to the joint,
Yep.
do their time, don't snitch, don't fuck no boys, and come home and they just deal with their regrets because they missed out a lot of life. Majority of them niggas is like Big Tyrone. They funny. They sneaking and they raping niggas or they having sex with niggas on low.
Exactly.
And they think because majority of them doing that, that's normal. Like, no, it's abnormal.
It's abnormal.
It's abnormal, man.
Yep.
For you to be actively looking at a boxer's dick print when you're supposed to be saying if your boxer came in and made the weight correctly.
Mm-hmm.
That's what you're supposed to be looking at. Their face, their eyes. Right? Do they look sunken in? Do they look solid? That's what you're supposed to be looking at.
Big Tyrone 720 is the dude that'll fuck a tranny and say that I fucked a woman.
Right, or say I penetrated him, so I'm not gay because he ain't penetrating me.
Exactly.
No, gay means you have sexual activity with another man, whether you got penetrated or not.
And try to justify it like Chingy did when Chingy did it.
He really did that shit?
Yeah, that's why he got that song. Every time I got
what's the word?
My life. I don't remember the song.
You was talking about a nigga?
He was talking about a nigga in that shit. Woo, talking about a tranny. Even the tranny said that shit. The tranny said he made that song for me. Every time I gonna go. That's why I stopped listening to that bullshit.
That makes sense.
I need you in my life.
Think about it.
Ooh,
he know what he's doing is wrong. Every time you try to leave, every time you try to say, I ain't fucking no more lady boys no more.
Yeah, holding me back.
Niggas say that shit was holding him back. That's because you having sex with an actual demon in that person. It's a spiritual connection. You can't get into that. That's the reason why these Bob Crawford fans, they can't let go of looking at dick prints. It's a sexual demon that got you actively looking at dick prints.
Yep.
That's a sexual demon.
Them artists be telling on themselves, man. Now we know what was holding them back. And ever since then, if he would have just prayed it away, maybe his career would have been resuscitated. But
some demons don't leave outside of fasting and praying.
Praying. That's right. Y'all wish I said it. None of these things can be done by fasting and prayer.
Motherfuckers want to eat big old slave plates.
Yep.
All that dark energy you eating, man. All that shit you ain't supposed to be eating. Hog maws. Yep. And then you wonder why you looking at dick prints, man.
Yep. That black actor, I forgot his name. The one that was on Tyler Perry's he was in Tyler Perry's movies, but he was also in that New York undercover cop show. Forgot that dude's name. They found out his ass was fucking trannies and shit like that. And he went a long time denying that shit. Forgot that nigga's name.
Hold on, let me check this shit right quick. This shit sounds stupid as fuck. In boxing, you can't have gloves that's bigger than the other person's gloves.
Exactly.
Everybody got the same gloves. The difference is the tampering of the glove. But you're not going to come in with heavyweight gloves and somebody else is wearing smaller gloves.
Yep.
That doesn't happen.
Now I know why they say Errol sexuals. Now I know why they use the term. Because Blood Man fans are so used to sexualizing Terence Crawford and talking about dick print that they have to use the sexual term in everything.
We do it too.
Exactly.
Man, I know I've been looking at Crawford dick print, so I know they're looking at Errol shit. How are they gonna pick Errol and Crawford shit bigger?
Exactly.
That's how they be thinking.
Yeah, so that's why they say Errol sexuals.
Yeah.
Because they always sexualizing Terence Crawford. See, these niggas always tell on themselves. So basically, y'all need to stop using the term Errol sexuals because you're telling on yourself. You're telling us that you have to pray the gay away. You're telling us that you got a demon that the only way that demon could be removed is none of these things could be done but by prayer and fasting, man.
Prayer and fasting. Prayer and fasting, man.
Yep.
And we all got our vices, man.
We all got it.
I have drinks. Sometimes I have a cigar or a black and milk.
Yes. Yes.
I probably shouldn't be having no cigar or black and milk. But
yeah,
one of my vices never gonna be. I'm never gonna be looking at no nigga dick print, man.
Yes, my vice. I'm hypersexual. Y'all know that shit. I love women, but I ain't gonna be checking no damn meat check. Fuck that.
I ain't gonna be on no meat check, and I'm definitely not gonna be convinced a straight man that something wrong with them because they don't do it too.
Exactly.
Can't do it, man.
That is absolutely correct.
I can't do it, man. Y'all, man, we plan on giving y'all at least another hour, but y'all gotta donate to motivate.
Yeah, y'all gotta donate to motivate, man. If y'all don't do that shit, we gonna get the fuck up out of here. Y'all playing games. Y'all really playing games.
A Bud Buddy in the comments and one of your other lives you did with the homie BYB. What exactly you talking about? Be more specific, bro.
Yeah, you gotta be very specific. You gotta tell us exactly what he did. You gotta tell us his sexualized comments. You got to tell us if he was getting into, lascivious, debauchery type behaviors, effeminate behaviors. There's biblical terms that they use. It's really homosexual term, effeminate. A lot of these men are effeminate. Apostle Paul used to use that term a lot. And Apostle Paul used to say, doth not nature teach you that it is against a man for a man to be with a man? Nature teaches you that. It goes against nature.
It also teaches you that a man not supposed to be looking at another man's waist area.
Yes.
When we look at women, we naturally do what? We naturally look down at their hips.
Yep.
In their waist area as a man, because that's a biological thing that's wired in us. Because we biologically want to impregnate women.
Yes. You can say that again.
So when you are looking at a man like you would look at a woman, does not nature teach you you're not supposed to do that?
Yep.
The fact that you even doing that means you wired the wrong way. But it's not. You were not born that way.
Yep.
Not trying to tell you probably had all women around you.
Yep.
And that's how women look.
Yep.
That's how women look at men. So you start to see men through women's eyes.
Yep.
So now when you see a man approaching, you don't even look at the nigga's shoulders and his head. You look at the nigga's midsection and beneath.
Yep.
Women do that.
Yep.
You have no business knowing if a nigga got a big package or not.
Exactly.
You have no business knowing it.
Exactly.
Right, when he fully clothed. How you know that? You know way too much. How can you identify that as a man?
Exactly. Something is fundamentally wrong with you when you do shit like that.
But for every and niggas be trying to tag other niggas in the chat for they could get a gallery, a peanut gallery.
Yeah, exactly.
They all subject. We not all subject. Y'all came in here with the gay shit.
Exactly.
And we're never gonna let this die. Because
Yep.
you'll never hear Errol Spence fan talking about dick prints.
Exactly.
We're never gonna let this die, man. All Bud fans like looking at dick as far as I'm
Dick
concerned.
prints. All Bud man fans are suspect.
I met one in
You
real
told you
life.
that. You're a Terence Crawford fan. You're a suspect by nature.
But at the end of the day, back to what this was about. It's about pointing out the fact that for you to be a Bud fan, you gotta ignore that his gloves didn't look right.
Mm-hmm.
You're ignoring that Spence didn't look nowhere near how he normally looks.
Mm-hmm.
You're ignoring that Bud never had that type of power. He struggled with a one-leg Benavidez. So how the hell he ain't struggled with Spence? And Spence way better than Benavidez. You're ignoring a lot of things just because you like the size of a nigga dick.
Dick.
We don't have that ailment, so we can see through it. That's an ailment you have. We don't have that ailment.
And Terence Crawford told on himself when he gave Adrian Broner the dap. He said, "Yeah, my shit was laced." Niggas don't read between the lines, dog. And he said my shit was laced, and he bragged about the shit.
Right.
And my shit was laced. When you think of lace, the only thing that's laced is either your shoestrings or gloves.
They're blunts.
Exactly, and blunt.
Whenever you're trying to trick somebody or whenever you fucking somebody up without them knowing it, they'll lace a blunt.
Yep.
He said, and it was lace.
And it was lace.
It was a trick. Basically.
It was a trick. Yep. And when AB saw that shit, AB went like, and then AB just walked off. Like, come on, man. Y'all gotta see this shit for what it is. If they both did the eye shit, like, and then they both walked off. Come on, man.
Okay. But guess what? For the sake of boxing, AP can't say nothing.
Can't say nothing. He gotta eat that one.
He got to mind his business for the sake of boxing.
He got mind it because that shit ain't got nothing to do with him.
Just like he couldn't say nothing when he fought Maidana.
Exactly.
That's what AB's really. That's what he's really mad about, upset about. He moved up the fight of Maidana when he didn't have to, and Maidana used some loaded ass gloves, and he never been the same since.
He never been the same. He beat the shit out of him with some loaded ass gloves. And Floyd, being the dichotomy that Floyd is, that bullshit ain't happening over here.
Hell no.
Hell no. Leonard Ellaby. That's why I say everybody needs a Leonard Ellaby. I'm gonna tell you right now, we got to start giving Leonard Ellaby his credit. Fighters need to start paying Leonard Ellaby a check just to be right there to watch the gloves. I would do that. If I was a fighter, I would have Leonard Ellaby in my corner just to do the gloves. Because Leonard Ellaby would be right there saying, hell no, you need to take it off, rewrap it again. You saw he was making Robert Garcia mad as fuck. I don't like the way that rapping was. Do it again. He made Robert Garcia wrap that motherfucker up 5 different times.
Because they were trying,
motherfucker pissed.
They couldn't use the gloves they wanted, so they tried to do the illegal rapping.
Yeah.
What people don't realize is boxing, cheating in boxing happens all the time. A lot of times the corners either get paid to look the other way or they don't catch the shit.
Yep.
But cheating in boxing it happens all the time. Whenever you see a nigga got extreme power that he didn't have the fights before.
Yep.
Cause you knocking out Amir Khan ain't the same as you knocking out Errol Spence Jr. You know what I'm saying? That because you can knock out C-level fighters don't mean you're supposed to knock out Errol Spence. All of a sudden you got the power to do something nobody else done before easily, and every one of your punches hurt. That's obvious cheating.
Yeah, that's the dude. Now I remember him. Space the A card. That was the dude. Remember when I told you, Ross? He gave you credit. That was the dude that said, I wish I could screenshot the convo, but it was your live y'all did yesterday. I believe I made a long post about it. Bro, that comment is still there. You can just go to the live and screenshot it from there. He said, about how I feel Earl and Bud are working together to pull off this WWE money move.
Yeah.
Yep. I remember your fucking comment, bro.
Yeah, because people got to ask one thing. You got to think about it. At one point in the fight, it was as if Bud was saying, good job. You really selling this shit because at one point in the fight, after the round, Bud runs up to Errol Spence and daps him.
And daps him
up.
Yep.
Who does that?
You know when I knew this shit was rigged? When Earl shook Bud's hand. Earl never shake the opponent's hand. He shook Bud's hand. And you remember at the weigh-in, at the end of the weigh-in, they shook each other's hand, and it was like a brother moment. That shit was weird as fuck. Cause Earl, every time he about to beat somebody's ass up, that shit never happens. It's like they were in cahoots, man. And motherfuckers ain't even catch that shit. Like, okay, you gonna get me this time, but you already know what's about to happen next time. That's what that shit was.
You gotta understand one thing. A fight that's rigged good fooled even the elect. It fooled us.
Yes.
We ain't saying nothing after that shit.
Ross is hitting y'all with biblical references because the Bible says even the very elect shall be deceived, man. Yes. But you know what, Ross? You know what, Ross? You know what, Ross? In honesty, we allowed ourselves to be deceived. Let me tell you why. Because God already gave us the answer. We just held it back. Because we both looked at each other offline and we said, is this shit rigged? So the truth came to us. We just didn't allow ourselves to go all the way through with it. Next time when me and Ross feel that way, we gonna tell y'all motherfuckers right then and there. Because the truth can't come to us like that and then we don't deliver. So that was our fault for not delivering it at the time we were supposed to. Because we both said it. That means God was activating our mind, telling us, hey, something off.
And this is the second time that we let this shit slide.
Yep.
And when they said it was a 3-fight deal, now we caught it with the Canelo shit, but Canelo easy because he stayed cheating. But then when they said it was a 3-fight deal with Fury and Deontay Wilder, we both said 3-fight deal. Something ain't right about that. Yep. And you see what had transpired. We were supposed to come out and say something. And when they said 3-fight deal with the fucking with Bud and Errol Spence, he called me and we talked about it. And then we said, man, Errol Spence he wouldn't guard like that, man. Nah, we ain't gonna see him guard like that. And that nigga went out like that.
Yep. Because guess what? Earl made $25 million up front. Crawford made $25 million up front, and they both made $35 million on the back end. These niggas made $60 million. That's why Spence could get on the plane and go to Ibiza, Spain, and look like Wolverine the next fucking week. Do you see Spence crying over this shit? Because this shit was a setup. This nigga over celebrating like, man, we just robbed the fucking bank. And we just made these boxing fans look like idiots. Because at the end of the day, it's prize fighting. And Floyd always talk about that. Nobody give a fuck about belts. It's about money. It's about setting up your family. It's about doing shit like that. These niggas about to make $120 million in the second fight. And they about to make close to damn near 200 plus in the third fight. These niggas gonna eat, man.
You understand how delusional? You gotta understand how delusional, how stupid somebody gotta be to look at that fight from beginning to end and say there's nothing wrong with it.
Exactly.
Do you know how much shit you got to person? I don't give a fuck who you know personally, boy.
Oh, no. He knows Bud personally.
I don't care who you know personally.
No. I'm gonna say this, bro. He knows Bud personally. Yeah, he's part of the dudes that Bud's been fucking in the ass, bro.
Right.
Oh, so of course he know Bud personally.
That don't make sense. I know Bud personally. I know a lot of niggas who cheat on their wives personally. I know a lot of niggas who steal personally. I know some niggas, some stealing ass niggas, man. Some sneaky niggas. Niggas who, if they in your house and you leave the room, you gotta make them clap until you come back. Because if they ain't clapping, they put something in their fucking pocket. Exactly. Fuck is you talking about? I know him, so nigga, you don't know that nigga. You don't sleep with him at night, boy.
Man,
fuck
Bud,
I know him, nigga. Stop sucking that nigga dick, man.
Bud can't keep up now because Bud done got famous overnight. So Bud doesn't have a lack of shortage of assholes that he's gonna be fucking. So he probably don't even know you personally no more because he probably graduated to a new asshole that he's fucking right now.
You gotta understand.
So I'm sorry to tell you, man, Bud don't know you personally no more.
The fact that you know him personally means your opinion of him should be taken with a grain of salt because it's biased.
Yep.
It's biased. So you're saying Spence looked absolutely normal before that fight.
Exactly.
You're saying those gloves look normal, that you seen gloves do that, stand straight up. You're saying that you seen Spence get hurt by every punch before in the fight? With this nigga spars middleweights and light heavyweights? But Bud hits harder than heavyweights? Come on, man. You saying you know Bud personally know that means that you're a fucking liar. Because since you know him personally, you gonna suck his dick even harder.
Space the A card. Check this out. Just like Earl had to play ball for the first fight, Bud got to play ball for the second fight. That's what I'm telling you. I already see how this fight gonna end up in the second fight. Bud get knocked the fuck out. His knockout's gonna look so good because Earl gonna look so much like a monster. You gotta understand. They made Earl look so weak right now. Earl gonna look so much like a monster. He gonna knock this motherfucker out. Bud man fans are gonna feel like, well, damn, what is this big dick shit we was talking about? This nigga got put on his fucking ass. I'm telling you, I already see how this shit played out. Bud gonna get fucking crippled in the second fight. That's how this shit is. So it goes back to what Benj Art was saying. And this is that's why I said I want to see what Bud put out there, because I think this is one of the demands. Let me win the first fight. Because remember, they had their conversation, right? Over the phone. Let me win the first fight, and the second is yours. So, of course, they made the fight happen. Because in the first fight, Earl was meant to look like he had to basically get his old sacrifice, right? And look at what we all talking about right now. So guess what you end up. Guess what you think gonna happen in the second fight?
Highlight Jaguar Assassin last post. Ding-a-ling washes in effect.
What?
Ding-a-ling washes in effect. You understand? These niggas are sexually attracted to Bud. And when you sexually attracted to a nigga, ain't nothing you won't say or do to support them. When I have a woman wrapped around my fingers, I be doing all type of fugazi ass shit. Be leaving the refrigerator wide open and shit, falling asleep, eating up the kids' snacks, doing all type of shit. The bitch stay 10 toes down because she open. Y'all like some bras for Bud.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Nigga, tell me, have you ever boxed? You ever seen a glove do that shit? That Tyson Fury and Bud gloves are doing?
Exactly.
Niggas always want to question you and put the burden of proof on you. When everybody see, obviously something was up in the fight.
Nah, man, you know what it is? Every time I want to go, something keep holding me back. That damn Terence Crawford ding-a-ling is holding him back, man. That's what he's defending right now. Ding-a-ling watches in effect.
What's the reason? To me, what's the reason to fix this fight?
If you don't know his money, then we can't.
You come to Chicago, nigga. I'm from Chicago. What the fuck is you talking about, nigga? You ain't saying nothing. Come to Chicago and find out. Nigga, shut up. You probably don't even come outside of Chicago. Because there's two different Chicagos. Yeah. Niggas be in the house talking. Niggas don't be outside, man. Niggas just be talking, man.
Yeah, they be capping, man.
I would believe that it was just because of that, but that's the simple, easy way to say he was just malnourished, and that could be true too. But it wasn't just malnourishment. Look at him before the fight.
Yep.
Malnourishment don't make you like you high.
Yep.
Before the fight. They don't make you like you high before the fight. Terence Crawford he has an open investigation on him right now for loaded gloves.
Exactly.
Oh, am I making this shit up?
No, you're not. Avocado got an active lawsuit out on him for tampering with gloves and said that his face felt like he was hit with bricks and plaster. And he said, I've been hit by heavyweights. So how the fuck this Terence Crawford got more power than heavyweights? I've been hit by heavyweights in sparring, and Terence Crawford's punch were artificial.
And when we see Errol Spence fight dehydrated before.
Yep.
He was dehydrated against Mikey Garcia.
Yeah, he was dehydrated against Sean Porter.
So
how did all of a sudden this nigga lose his durability? Like, that shit don't make no sense.
And we never seen Bud. Put this way, I believe that fight was real. If everybody Bud fought before that fight, he knocked out in the first round. I
would have believed it was real if Earl was punishing Bud the whole time and then Bud hit him with a punch. because Bud was supposed to beat him up by puncher's chance. If Bud had hit him with a counter and hit him with a puncher's chance punch, then I would have believed that shit. But there's no visible proof that Earl was punishing him. How the fuck lower level opponents, Mean Machine, is punishing Bud, hitting Bud with shots, but Earl can't do that? So Earl all of a sudden lost his punch resistance overnight? That shit don't make no sense, man.
I believe two things could be true at once. I could believe Bud was cunning and waited till Errol's at the end of his rope, and I could believe he had loaded gloves.
Yep.
I can believe two things at once. Cause that fight looked damn near identical to the Margarito Cotto fight.
Yep.
Everything Margarito was touching Cotto with, everything he touched him with was hurting him. Every punch don't hurt a fighter that got a chin. Every punch don't hurt him, even a good shot. Every punch don't hurt them.
Yep. We've never seen Bud hit niggas in the first round and niggas start bleeding.
When every punch hurt a fighter, them gloves loaded like a motherfucker, boy.
Exactly.
Because you came up the ranks with that power. That means you supposed to be devastating niggas at 135.
Yes.
You supposed to be smoking niggas at 140.
Yep.
I'm talking about first round. If you would do that to Errol Spence, then you should have never been past the first round.
Why every fight Bud has, it takes until the second half of the fight for him to hit you with a sneaky punch for him to get you out of there. But from round one, he had Spence face splatting blood. That shit don't make no sense.
So you know what? It takes niggas to lay out all the facts for Bud fans to start saying shit that everybody already know. You're like, you don't think Spence got soft tissue damage? Didn't you just say Bud won that fight fair and square and Spence was perfect?
Yeah.
So Spence is perfect. So niggas start laying out facts. Then all of a sudden, y'all start trying to start. Y'all become doctors and start diagnosing niggas.
Yep.
Nah, y'all just said Spence was good. He won it fair and square.
Exactly.
But when niggas start laying out facts how they think the fight was rigged, now y'all want to quiet that by saying like, nah, Spence wasn't really 100%. He can't be 100% and then not be 100%.
Even Deontay Wilder, even Gervonta Tank Davis, even Naoya Inoue, they don't get you out of there in the first round. And these guys have devastating power. Triple G, devastating power. Don't get motherfuckers out of there in the first round. Usually motherfuckers get picked apart by round 2, round 3 with guys with that level of power. When you see a guy's face already starts to welt up from round 1, those gloves were loaded and padded. The last fight we seen that happen where Cotto's face started bleeding, you start seeing blood splat all over the ring, was against Antonio Margarito, man. When your shit is loaded, man, you are on some extra shit. You on some fire ass shit.
You never see Spence react like that to a punch, and Crawford don't have the type of power to make Spence react like that to a punch.
Never. He went 12 rounds with Sean Porter, and the way his face looked in that fight was natural. Bud beating up on Spence like that. First of all, Bud don't even have that kind of motor. Bud is a slow starter. Every fight, Bud starts slow. How of a sudden, Bud is able to start fast. Performance enhancement drug is a motherfucker, man. That shit can make you do some shit that you naturally wouldn't fucking do, man. I see these guys in the gym that's on these fucking PEDs. And these niggas be doing shit that I be like, what the fuck? Because I already know they on that shit. That shit is not natural. When you're not natural, you can do shit that even motherfuckers that's been doing it for a minute, like, what the fuck is going on? Right. Victor Conte is in the back pocket. So if we know that Victor Conte has been involved with Balco, we know that Victor Conte has been involved with fucking Barry Bonds, Sammy Sosa, Mark McGuire, track stars. We know all of this information. Why do we choose to ignore this shit?
Well, people don't realize
Victor Conte did jail time. Why do we choose to ignore this? Like, we have the facts. All you got to do is Google. Why do we choose to ignore that Terence Crawford is working with David Chingy, an Irish mobster, the same dude that Tyson Fury was working with? All the info there, and he's been working with this dude since September 2021. Do we choose to gloss over this? Do we choose to gloss over the active lawsuit that David Avocado? Oh, my bad. David Avocado's a tune-up fighter, so nobody respects what he has to say. We choose to overlook all of the facts. But
Bud
we want to
usually get
accept that the
KOs.
fight that we saw was for real.
Bud usually get KOs after the 7th, 8th round.
Exactly.
Bud never looked like that, man. And if you're saying somebody who struggled with Gamboa, it makes sense for them to do that to Errol Spence. You're not respecting boxing. And you're not respecting weight classes. You're not respecting a lot of things in boxing, and you basically going off what you want to see.
Exactly.
Bud Crawford doesn't have he doesn't have the physical capability to generate that type of power on his lonely.
Exactly.
That's what it looks like when you hit someone for an object. Look at Spence's eyes. He looked scared at some points of the fight.
Every punch that he was hitting Spence with was devastating Spence. How the fuck does that happen? How do you grow power overnight? Like, why are people not questioning this shit?
And that right, and that's yeah, exactly. Gabriel Ross, he ain't even do that to Avocado. So what y'all gotta understand is this: two things happen. I believe what Ox is saying is true. I don't believe Spence was hydrated to where he needed to be. I think Spence's last fight, I think Spence would have been hydrated if Bud would have fought him right away. Bud let Spence go a year and a half while he waited for him to get on the same thing, to get on the same schedule. And that year and a half killed Errol Spence. It fucked him up. He was no longer as raw and uncut at 147. So that's one thing. And another thing, I feel he did something to those gloves too. I feel he did something to those gloves. Spence been hit clean before. Multiple times he never reacted like that.
Never
reacted.
And bigger dudes, man. Bigger fucking dudes. Way bigger dudes. Like that shit don't make sense, man. There's a video of Spence having blood from his nose and sparring, and they said he got that shit from a heavyweight dude that hit him. And he was clear, coherent, able to talk, blah, 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 blah. So how the fuck is he able to do that? But with Bud, he's got all of these welts in his face. When has Bud ever done that? If y'all could show me a history proof of previous fights where Terence Crawford has done this to previous opponents, then we got something to talk about. So all of a sudden, Terence Crawford is Superman? All of a sudden, he's Saitama, One Punch Man? Like, where the fuck did all of this shit come from?
Yeah, that's the thing. One thing I realized about some men, when they really want, they have their women in some form of fashion. When they really want to believe something, all logic go out the window. Okay, let's say, so
yep.
Are we gonna say that Bud isn't being investigated right now for tampering with gloves?
Exactly.
Yep. Let's just say, let's look that up. So we're saying that didn't happen?
Exactly.
It don't matter what Spence got on his face. Is Bud being investigated for tampering with gloves or not?
They don't want to answer that question. Because if they answer that question, it's going to incriminate them.
And if he's being investigated for tampering with gloves, then it's very well that he tampered with the gloves against Errol Spence, because he's already being investigated for such actions.
There you go. And Gabriel Rojas was thinking, because he said, I heard that this fight is a trilogy from the very beginning. We didn't even know that. We just knew bilateral rematch. But you said you heard the fight was a trilogy from the beginning. So that right there, that is clear indicator that boxing is being boxing all over again. And I'm going to say this again, because me and Ross have been saying it for 2 days straight. Y'all going to see more and more trilogies, man. Don't be surprised. Some of your other favorite boxers, they're going to take their O's too, because they see there's money to be made. There's going to be some other trilogies, man. Get ready for this shit.
Not only did the boxing gloves look thicker than Errol's, the boxing gloves did shit that boxing gloves don't do. I'm saying here with a pair of gloves right now. Mm-hmm. Listen, man. When you catch a shot, right? You catch a shot, boom. This is as far as your hand can open up. I got my shit extended to the fullest. Look at the side of the glove. It's extended to the fullest. Crawford glove was like this.
Yep.
How is that possible?
That's not possible.
This shit was all the way open and straight as hell and looked hard at the tip.
Yep.
That shit ain't possible.
Yep.
And then when he closed his glove, this part here was down all the way down here.
Exactly.
It was long as fuck.
Yep.
His gloves was not right.
Yep.
You're not a professional fighter. What does that mean? So I'm not a professional fighter. So that means nobody. Okay, so that means all these platforms need to shut the fuck up because we ain't professional fighters.
Exactly. Exactly.
That don't mean a goddamn thing. Professional gloves are harder to manipulate than practice gloves.
Yep.
Gloves you got to actually tie up are even harder to manipulate. You won't even be able to do this with those gloves.
Yep.
They're stronger, they're tougher. The gloves that Crawford fought in, you're not supposed to be able to manipulate them like that.
And what is your response to folks saying the professional gloves are different than the ones you got on?
I just said it. The professional gloves are harder to manipulate.
Exactly.
Period.
Period.
Period. Just say I like Terence Crawford. I don't want to take from his win. And even though y'all saying shit that makes sense, fuck y'all. Say that, but don't act like Terence Crawford not being investigated for cheating right now.
Every point that Ox is making is fire because Ross also said that shit too, that Derrick James failed his ace fighter. He did. When he was sitting there having a whole bunch of fighters in the camp, you're not supposed to do that. For the biggest fight of your career, your fighter's biggest fight of the career, you're supposed to be locked in on the fighter. You're supposed to be having alternative trainers train these other guys who's not going to have fights that's coming up anytime soon. So that was the first no. I got on Derrick over that shit. And then on top of that, let's be honest. When these types of things happen, everybody's in on it, man. And at the end, when you looked at Derrick James grabbing Terence Crawford's gloves, what did he do? He knew what was up. And then Errol hits him in the fucking ribcage. Y'all go look at my shorts, man. Y'all see it. He like, oh, this nigga cheated.
Yeah.
This nigga straight cheated.
That
was the only way he was able to drop my fighter.
You gotta understand one thing. They gave the casual fans what the casual fans want to see.
Yep.
Every casual American, even if they're black, they always want to see an unapologetic, confident black man lose.
Facts.
They came to see Ali lose. They came to see Floyd lose. They've been waiting for Kanye to lose.
Yep.
They love to see Kobe Bryant lose. Yep. You know how many niggas at work was like, man, Kobe lost that bitch ass nigga, blah, 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 blah. I never liked that nigga. They want unapologetic black men to fucking lose.
Niggas act like they can't Google. They keep telling us what is the source. Y'all act like y'all can't Google. It's all over.
I ignore something. I don't work for you, nigga. I ain't finna Google shit for you. You smart. Exactly. You got a smartphone. Use it to be smart for once.
Exactly.
I still said what? Scroll up for Oxtail, man. I can scroll up.
Yeah, let me bring it
I
up.
still said Victor Conte has scientific strategies and mass PEDs traced from discovery for 5-10 years. Think about it. If Bud Crawford is this guy, PEDs. If Bud Crawford is this guy y'all say he is, why he working with dirty people?
Exactly.
Floyd Mayweather ever worked with Victor Conte? Has he? Floyd Mayweather ever worked with Callahan and the Irish mob? Has he? Tyson Fury has. Yeah, if it's smoke, it's fire, motherfucker. It's that simple. There's a lot of smoke in this fight. There's a lot of smoke fires every fucking where. There's a fire somewhere. So y'all mean tell me.
I knew Crawford was on roids because all guys that's on roids have one thing in common. I see them in the gym, bro. All guys that's on roids have an unnatural turtleback. Their turtleback be having striations on that shit, man. Natural guys that have turtlebacks, there's not striations on that shit, man. This motherfucker has striations on his turtleback. I'm like, Crawford has never had striations on his turtleback. Crawford's always come in lean, boxing muscles. All of a sudden, he's bulkier. He's 30 pounds heavier. He looks fresh at the weigh-in. All of that is undetectable PEDs, and he's using it. And he's using, I'm gonna be honest with you, because Victor Conte is so good at this shit. He's using the best of the best shit on the market, man. The best of the fucking best.
And then
The
it's
best
like,
of the fucking best.
and then it's like these people, they can't keep one story. First, they say
Yep.
nothing was wrong with Errol Spence. He lost fair and square. Then they say he had brain damage for the car crash. If he had brain damage for the car crash, how the fuck is it fair and square?
Yep.
Just that alone lets you know that is not fair and square.
Yep.
So, but before the glove shit came out, y'all wouldn't admit that y'all wouldn't say nothing about the car crash. Y'all said his body was perfect. Niggas started bringing out actual proof that this fight is rigged. Now y'all talking about, you know what? On second thought, his body wasn't perfect. He really suffered from the crash. Like, no.
Nah.
We going back to what you said. Y'all said it was fair and square. Y'all said there was nothing wrong with his body. So we going back to that.
Man, we've been talking about the gloves, man. We've been talking about this shit from day one. And honestly, I'm glad Ox mentioned the nutrition part. Cocktail supplements are also a form of nutrition. That's why they call it supplements, man. When you're on performance enhancement drug, it's a form of supplement. So when you hear Terence Crawford had a nutritionist, his nutritionist was Victor Conte, man. Victor Conte was loading him up with supplements, man. That's what he was loading them up with. And y'all can't see this for what it is.
Hey, listen. The nigga talk about BDA. How the fuck you know that was a real doctor, nigga?
And guess what? I debunked that shit in one fucking video. Right. Because first of all, that's a pro Bud fucking channel. Secondly, when you have a doctor, supposedly, when they found out, you know what they found out that he was? And you about to laugh. He was a CNA, a certified nursing assistant. Far from being a fucking doctor. Thank goodness I dropped the video I dropped because his credentials came out. So we're going to listen to a certified nursing assistant. First of all, that's not even a nurse. That's not even an RN, LPN. So now we're going to go by them. And then here's the funny thing about it. He called in and said, I was having a conversation with my wife. What actual legal doctor that has doctor credentials ever say some dumb shit? That's why I say motherfuckers sipping the stupid dodo head nonsense. What doctor ever says I was talking to my wife? A doctor stands on his own merit. He doesn't need to say I was talking to my wife. And right. then secondly, if the doctor had no affinity for just BDA, the doctor would be on so many other platforms saying that, because typically he would be trying to promote himself and his celebrity. So he'd be on multiple platforms saying this. Why is he on an isolated pro Bud channel saying that? Y'all fall for the dumbest shit ever in my life, man. Y'all stupid motherfuckers, man. The fuck does his wife have to know about this? I was having a conversation.
I talked to my wife, nigga. Yeah, nigga, fuck your wife, boy.
Exactly.
Fuck about your wife. Check this out, man. Motherfuckers, any motherfucker saying that this is just complaints are people who don't give a fuck about nothing as long as they get what they want.
Yep.
As long as they see what they want to see, you don't give a fuck about it. They don't care about the quality. They don't care about the integrity or nothing. if he would have won fair and square, because you gotta understand, I ain't started really seeing what was happening in fights like round 4. I ain't see the rain walk. I ain't see a lot of shit. I was having complications over here. If I would saw that rain walk, if I would have saw the backstage shit, originally I'd have said something wrong with this fight from the jump. So anybody saying this fight is real and they seen Errol Spence, how you look backstage, you have no integrity. You're spineless.
Guess what, Ross?
You have no integrity to say this is a real fight. And you seen how Errol Spence was looking before he came out.
Ross, we're missing the most important thing here. Black Prime helped Terence Crawford to cheat. And we got to talk about this because he brought up a fire point, and nobody talking about his gloves in his last fight in his hometown on Black Network. Black Prime Network, i.e. the LDBC, was in on it. They helped Terence Crawford in his cheating fucking ways, man. And that shit went under the fucking radar. And people are sitting here saying, supposedly we're emotionally invested in the fighter, which is not the case. I heard this first comment when people said, well, showbiz is saying this is why you shouldn't be emotionally invested. But Showbiz was emotionally invested in Manny Pacquiao when he was trying to
And
make his argument
Lomachenko.
with Floyd.
And
And he was
Lomachenko.
emotionally invested in Vasily Lomachenko. And then when they got exposed, what ended up happening? He ran to the fucking hills. So I guess he was basically using projection for his own ways of thinking. That's what he was using. He was using projection, bro.
A motherfucker just said the commission blessed it. This is a Mexican that said that. Above that.
Oh, we got that.
Mexicans say fool like that.
Yep.
And Mexicans love seeing black dominant men lose. Like they get a hard on because of that. The commission blesses everything. Who has the commission ever caught cheating?
Yep.
The Nevada State Commission don't catch nobody cheating. The sanctioned bodies never catch anybody cheating. It's only the corners that catch people cheating.
Exactly.
They commission anything. They don't give a fuck.
Yep. And I want to put this comment up.
Irish, Mexican, same fucking thing. Because
black crime was a trial run with the gloves. It was never about the money. Facts.
Yeah.
It was a trial run for them to basically use Terence Crawford to be able to cheat, to prepare him. Basically, they gave Terence Crawford every advantage for Terence Crawford to be able to win. And then all of this stuff about BDA is saying Bud is a cheater. He cut that David guy. It's after he listened to our platform. People, when you see people are talking about gloves and all that shit, they copying us, man. Because we're the ones that brought it out. We're the ones that talked about it. Nobody else was talking about it. Everybody was sitting there saying, salute to Terence Crawford. Salute to Terence Crawford winning. Salute to Terence Crawford this. We're the only ones that said something was suspect about the fucking fight. So when you hear any motherfucker talking about that shit, it's because we were the ones that said it. HeKnows and Tom Ross.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, bro, you gotta understand one thing. When you're the type of person who don't have the testicular fortitude to admit that you see something that's not quite right, even if it goes against somebody that you actually even you fuck with, you can't be called a man in my eyes, man.
Exactly.
You're a kid. Kids act like they don't understand shit so they can believe wrestling is still real.
Yep.
Children do that, man. Y'all acting like children right now.
Yep. Nope. No the fuck that wasn't. Nobody was talking about loaded and padded gloves and Spencer Crawford. I was the first one to talk about it. Ross had it in the back of his mind, like, hey, something was off. And then when Ross kept watching the fight over and over again, Ross was like, fuck it. It is what it is, man. So I don't want to hear this shit. So if you see any copycat videos doing loaded and padded gloves, Spencer Crawford, nobody was saying that, man. Nobody.
Well, first of all, man, donate the fucking motivator.
Exactly.
Like, bro. Donate the
so y'all need to come in here, give the platform the respect it deserves for opening you guys' mind to what is. To opening you guys' minds to boxing is not just what you think it is. It's not just square circle. It's not just, it's about boxing. No, you can't just keep it boxing about boxing. When you do that, you miss out. Even the very elect, even myself and Ross, when we have gotten into the mode of just keeping it boxing, that shit fucks with us. You can't do that. You always got to look at every angle because boxing is coming at you at every angle. They're coming at you with suits. They're coming at you with money. They're coming at you with promotion. They're coming at you with the gate. They're coming at you with marketing. They're coming at you with every fucking thing that they're coming at you with. They're coming at you with salvation because they have to save the sport. They want the sport to become the number one premier combat sport again. So how do you make that happen? You create controversies. You create trilogies. Like, there's just no way around it. And y'all motherfuckers gonna eat that shit up.
Yeah, and do it right. It is a coward. It is a coward move to call other men a bitch. You know what I mean? It's inflammatory. But this is what I expect from a Crawford fan. And that's the reason why I talk to them kind of inflammatory too. Flamboyant too, because that's how they are. That's what they understand. But I expect that from them. They have no integrity, just like the person whom they root for has no integrity.
Yep.
Because it's not one thing. Because it'll be one thing if this was just dehydrated. He took, normally when somebody dehydrated, you take him into deep waters, then you drown. It'll be one thing if Spence was dehydrated and Crawford just got him. I say Spence waited around too long, and it bit him in the ass. But it's too many things.
Mm-hmm.
Crawford is being investigated for cheating with his gloves. That's black and white.
Yep.
Crawford also looked very powerful out of nowhere.
Yep.
That's black and white. You can see that. He never looked that powerful before. Crawford also is working with Victor Conte.
Yep.
Who also is the king of helping people cheat. That's black and white. You can't argue that. If you're ignoring all of this, you're not a real man to me. And anything you say don't mean a goddamn thing.
And me and Ross just presented to you guys yesterday that there's a connection between him and Tyson Fury through an Irish mobster. So if you ignore that, then you're ignoring the facts.
You don't want to know. Right, that nigga not no fucking. Bud is a shifty ass nigga, man.
Ain't nothing about Bud is honest, man. That dude is shady as fuck. Him and Bomac. And that's why Bomac got so confident out of nowhere. And Bomac said, "Watch, you gonna see, man. They gonna start moving the goalposts." Them niggas knew what the fuck they was doing. How the fuck they went from being scared all of a sudden to so confident? Because they knew what they was doing behind the scenes, man.
They knew it.
And how the fuck? And this is how you know Bud was cheating. How the fuck you fucking while you supposed to be saving your legs, and you confident enough to say that and slip and say that on All Access because you knew you could take that cocktail to keep you in superhuman form, man. Because when niggas are on PEDs, they could be doing anything. Niggas could be eating like trash. They could be eating like garbage. When you on PEDs, that should keep your ass swole the whole fucking time. That should keep you right the whole time. You could be eating fucking Big Macs. That should keep you right the whole fucking time, man.
Salute the D.
I'm telling you, I know this shit.
Salute the D.
Salute the D for saying that. You know, we always love when you come up in here.
Guess what?
You know,
the Bob fans came back in, they started back talking about Terence Crawford D.
Yep. They were digmatized. That's what they was. They were digmatized. Because that's what people don't understand, man. When you're on that cocktail, you could do whatever. You could eat whatever. That's why you see shit like Liver King. You see guys like The Rock, man. They eating pancakes. They eating all kinds of shit. They eating damn near 50,000 calories. You're not supposed to be able to consume that and not get fat. Right. But these motherfuckers, I don't care how much working out you're doing. There's supposed to be a cortisol issue. There's supposed to be an inflammation issue to keep your body bloated when your body's under natural regulation. But when you're on PEDs, it goes against that. It cuts against that because it keeps your testosterone levels high. First of all, your testosterone is supposed to do this every day. It's supposed to yo-yo. It's not supposed to stay stagnant. If a person's testosterone is staying stagnant, that tells you that person is on PEDs.
That's the reason why I don't say pause, I'm a grown man. But that's the reason why every time you smash a woman, your shit ain't always the same hardness. Because you don't always have the same testosterone in you.
Exactly.
That's why. It's certain
and
levels.
Call that, and I'm gonna give you the scientific term. They call that the refractory period because you need time to recover.
Yeah,
rebuild the testosterone back into your system.
Right. It's not always the same harness. But if you on that shit and your testosterone full blast, that's why you think a lot of porn stars be going bald and shit.
Yep.
They be on that shit.
That's just like when these niggas be on those sex pills, right? The sex pills is like PEDs. It creates that element to where you can keep going. Even after you nut, you keep going. You stay hard. You keep going. You keep going. Because what's supposed to happen naturally, you're supposed to go flaccid. And then you're supposed to recover. That's why you see in natural sex, niggas would be like, man, I need to go drink some water. You get dehydrated. Right. Or I need about 15 minutes. Then they go back into it. That's what you naturally do. Like if I'm naturally fucking somebody, hey, give me about 15. Let me chill for a second. Let me get some water in me real quick. Then I go back in. Right. But when you are not natural, you jump right back in the motherfucker hard as hell. After you done basically bust a nut that is the equivalent of a planet blowing up and you're not recovering, what the fuck? That shit don't make no sense.
And one thing I noticed about Bud fans and LeBron James fans, they always say everybody on PEDs, so you can't point them out.
Yep.
So you mean tell me you accepting the fact that the person you root for on PEDs by saying everybody on, you don't have proof that everybody's on PEDs. The proof
Yep.
is on the person you rooted for. You can't say
Exactly.
everybody don't got PEDs. That's why their body breaks down.
Yep.
Floyd Mayweather's body broke down because he wasn't on PEDs.
Honestly, this is what I'm gonna say. Even if I like somebody, I gotta call a spade here. And that's what Ross always like about me, man. I'm gonna call a fucking spade a spade. Derrick James and them failed, and I'm gonna tell you why they failed. They
I
failed
told you they
because
failed.
they didn't do their due diligence like a Leonard Ellerby would. And Derrick James needs to get another person in there on the team. Probably one or two more people. Don't need to be trainers, but people that's actively looking at shit, paying attention to shit. Because how do you accept no VADA testing? How do you not do a concrete, thorough glove checking of a fight for your fighter's biggest fucking fight? That's a failure.
That's what I was trying to say the other day was Floyd's whole career. Neither his father nor his uncle got trained in a year. They had the best fighter.
Yep.
But you know what else they was doing? They was protecting their son and their nephew.
Exactly.
Damn near all these fights, they never push for VADA testing. They don't be checked. If you ask me, this ain't the first time they didn't check for the gloves. I guarantee you, this is normal. They don't check for the gloves. He probably been sitting back thinking the WBC and all them doing their jobs. No, it's your job to go in there and make sure that shit don't happen. Yep. It was not VADA tested.
It was not VADA tested.
It was not.
Because I guarantee you, if it was VADA tested, you would have found in Terence Crawford's blood that this dude was on some shit. And here's the thing too, Ross. That's why I want to see what the list of the demands were in the Spence and the Crawford fight. Because I guarantee you, part of those demands, Terence Crawford was probably saying no VADA testing, no thorough glove checking. And didn't Terence Crawford do gloves? Didn't he wrap his own fucking gloves up? And why didn't he take off his gloves? I always say this. The first thing fighters do at the end of the fight, Ross, you can fact check me if I'm wrong on this. The first thing fighters do at the end of the fight, they're so annoyed that the glove is in their hand because they've had it the whole fight. They're telling you, take this motherfucker off. A lot of times they're not even paying attention to none. They telling you, take these fucking gloves. They cursing at their team. Take these fucking gloves off. Why didn't Bud do that? Why did he hold the gloves all the way onto the back?
Right.
Come on, man. Y'all gotta catch for what it is.
If gloves are washed at every fight, then how was Margarito able to cheat?
Yep.
How did Margarito able to cheat if gloves are washed in every fight? Gloves are supposed to be washed in every fight.
Checkmate.
They're supposed to be washed in every fight. Don't mean that don't mean that they're actually being watched. And the fact that he didn't have those gloves taken off immediately after the fight was the confirmation that I needed. I watched the whole fight over. I watched him. You never saw them take off those gloves. They took them off camera.
Yep. Exactly. He wrapped his own hands, and the ref didn't even check the wraps either, because the refs have a responsibility to do that shit. He never removed the gloves after the fight. People are thinking, man. That's why Derrick James's facial reaction was like, because Derrick James understood this guy was hitting my fighter with dynamites in his fucking hands, man. Let's just be honest here. Exactly. This is why the fight happened. And it's very clear. If Spence would have said no to any of Bud's shady ass demands, the fight wouldn't have happened. And Spence is a real one for that. Didn't know it would be to his detriment, but there's a rematch. Facts. You know, Terence Crawford is quoted saying, the reason why I don't fuck with Jermell Charlo, and that part I actually agree with him on. The reason why I don't fuck with Jermell Charlo's a fake ass nigga. He ain't real. But Bud's fake too. But this is what he said about Earl. Earl a real ass nigga. Earl's genuine. Everything Earl say he gonna do, he do it. That's why Bud said that, and Bud used Earl's realness against him because he knew Earl was gonna do what Earl said he was gonna do. Earl wanted to fight for undisputed fight at 147, and Bud waited at the convenient time to make sure that Errol could no longer do 147 anymore. Let's be honest, that also was a factor too. So that speaks to Ox when he says he was weight drained, malnourished. That also speaks to Floyd. So when Ox and Floyd are saying that, they're speaking emphatic truths. You can't ignore that. But that's what he also did too. He wanted every fucking advantage. But I'm not just looking at the boxing advantage. I'm also looking at the exterior advantages on top of the boxing advantages. There was too many advantages, man, that this motherfucker got for the fucking fight. I mean, it's ridiculous.
Hold on, man. How many people in the chat right now?
We got 51 motherfuckers in the chat.
We need y'all to like. We need y'all to like this live stream right now, and we also need y'all to donate, man. Donate.
Yeah, donate to fucking motivate, man.
But here's another thing, man. So y'all mean to tell me that y'all didn't find nothing suspicious about Bud walking around in Vegas with a hoodie on? You know how hot it is in fucking Vegas, dude?
Exactly. Especially at that time.
He was trying to hide his body until the fight, so it could not be questioned.
Yep.
The night before the fight, it's too late now. But if people see that he's big as fuck out of nowhere, they see that.
And that explains the rage.
It takes
you saw the rage. You saw the rage he had, Ross, in the press conference where he was cursing out the fans. You know what that's called? That's roid rage. That's what that was. When out of nowhere he was saying, "I will fuck you up, you pussy ass nigga." That was roid rage, man.
Yeah.
People didn't even catch that shit. Even Spence was like, "What the fuck? The fuck is this?" That's that roid rage, man. That's that HGH rush. Niggas just out of nowhere just running their mouth.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I would believe that this was real if he did everybody else this way.
Yep.
Because if you could do that to Bud, if you can do that to Errol Spence, that means you're supposed to be knocking everybody else in the first round.
Yep.
That means you're supposed to knock Gamboa out in the first round.
Yep.
He's supposed to knock all these guys out in the first round. He can do that to Errol Spence. So I don't believe you get that type of power overnight. I'm not one of these niggas that suck these celebrities' dicks. I don't believe that.
Anybody that just out of nowhere just goes boom, angry, and then they just boom, easily tempered, and then they just boom, switch up on you like that 180. That's roid rage, man. We can say what we want because out of nowhere, Bud just started cursing. Even DJ Derrick James was like, "This nigga's vitriol against the fans was uncalled for." They couldn't understand it. It was uncharacteristic, but I understand it. Ross understands it. Anybody that's using deep fucking brain understands. The nigga was raging off of the roids. And when you rage off of the roid, you're going to say everything that you're going to ramble. If you notice, Bud went like 5 minutes straight rambling. You got to let that shit, you got to get that shit off.
John Mack just in here trolling. He's just in here trolling.
Yeah, let's get him out of here.
Yeah. He's just in here trolling now. Like, he ain't adding nothing to the conversation. He's just in here trolling.
Yeah, he ain't adding nothing.
Nah, they both didn't have their gloves removed.
They both didn't, JDL. I'm sorry to tell you, they both didn't. At the end of the fight, Terence Crawford's gloves did not get removed until the backstage. I don't know what fight you was watching. That motherfucker had his gloves on the whole damn time. They removed that shit and they removed that shit backstage.
I rock with Spence too.
I rock with Spence too, but you got duped. JDL, you got duped, man. I'm sorry to tell you that you got duped. It's okay though. Because even the very elect shall be deceived. You got
he ain't being deceived. He want to believe that shit was real.
Yeah,
he's not being deceived. The fact that he got to say I rock with Spence, you don't have to tell us nothing. You're telling us something we know not to be true. We know that wasn't true because we seen the fight. We know Bud's gloves didn't get removed on camera. You don't never see his shit get removed.
Never got removed.
Spence gloves were off. Bud gloves were still on.
Yeah, Spence shit was off. Spence got his shit removed immediately.
Fucking lie.
And you could tell Bud shit wasn't moved because why would Derrick James be touching his gloves? That shit should have been moved. Because usually both fighters have their hand moved and they're hugging each other and saying, "Thank you for the fight." Da 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 da. This nigga didn't have his shit moved. Because if he moved it, you know what would end up happening? Shit would have started bouncing off the damn glove. And then everybody, it would have been obvious something there was foul play. They got a man, and then Floyd, when Floyd was talking, Floyd was very, very metaphorical on how he talked, because at the end of the day, everybody's involved, man. You can't give out too much.
But that's
Especially
the
when you're
thing.
selling the fight. You can't give out too much,
That's
man.
the thing what people don't understand. When somebody cheat, this ain't the first time they cheated. You think Errol Spence is the first nigga that he laced his gloves with?
Exactly.
No. That's why when you pay attention, his gloves never get removed in the ring. Why would they remove his shit in the ring when they know his shit laced?
Exactly. If y'all motherfuckers mad and we'll be in a soundboard to y'all, guess what? From now all the way up until the rematch in December, get ready for us. Because between now and December, we're gonna be talking. We're gonna be talking about
Whenever
this shit.
one
We're gonna be
fighter do
exposing
something,
Blood for the cheater that he was.
whenever one fighter do something totally different from everybody else, and their power looks totally different from everybody else, you gotta understand something going on with the gloves. Why the fuck
JDL,
is
here's what I want
everybody?
you to do. I want you to look at the end of the fight, and I want you to see Spence had his gloves off, and Derrick James was touching Bud, and Bud had his gloves on. That right there tells you everything you need to know. I want you to go back and look at all. Ross has watched this fight. I didn't watch this fight as many times as Ross did. Ross rewatched this fight like 10 times over. You're gonna see this, man.
No, man. Bud's gloves was not removed.
Yep.
And if you listen to dude said Bud's gloves never get removed, so he been cheating.
Been fucking cheating.
Because the first thing you want to do after a fight is take off those fucking gloves.
Yep. When you see that, that's gonna tell you everything you need to know. Because I'm telling you, man, one thing I noticed with all fighters, they are annoyed when the glove is still on at the end of the fight. They want that shit off, especially when they want to gloat. They want to jump up in the ring and say I won or whatever. They want to show their hands, man, so that they can say do their little hand signs. They could do whatever. If they're gonna do a flip or whatever, they don't want to do that shit with gloves on. They want them shits off. But this motherfucker kept his gloves on, man.
Jermaine Key, I need you to send that picture to this email.
Yep. And then once you send it to Ross's email, then Ross will send it to me.
Send that picture that you got to this email, man.
There you go. Send it to that email, and then Ross will send it to me, and then we're gonna make sure.
Because depending on how spicy that shit is, we might need to end this and start another one.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like.
Yeah. You got to send that shit to us so that we know what's up.
I just, it's right there.
It's right there, man. I just put it up. I just put it up. I just put the email up. It's right there on the main portion of the channel. It's right there. You can see that shit. Now, I'm gonna leave it up until you get it, and you tell us you get it, man. Just send it to the email, man. You got like you ain't got no email, bro.
Right, motherfuckers just don't like Spence, so they're gonna ignore the fact. Bro, send it to the email. Why niggas stay talking about? Oh, he coming on here just to promote his Twitter. Like, bro,
Yeah, man.
It's cool. You got Twitter. You steady bringing it. I said send it to the email. Why you steady talking about Twitter?
Go.
Send it to the email.
Yep.
Okay, salute.
All right, good.
I'm trying to figure out if you're just using our live stream to promote your Twitter or not.
Yeah, man. If we're gonna allow you to promote your shit, you got to be able to allow us to use your shit so that it can benefit us, because we're actually low key leveraging our content creation. So we need to leverage your shit. That's how it works. Leverage for leverage. That's how I roll over here. I'm a businessman by nature. Leverage for leverage. But anyways, this shit was all fucked up, and we could say what we want about the fight, but the dynamics of the fight tells us everything we need to know. And once you get it, Ross, send that shit to me, and that way we can start doing. We gonna do our content creation on that shit. But how we got 55 motherfuckers in here, man? At the height of this live, we had damn near almost 60. We knew this was gonna be another success, and y'all motherfuckers just don't donate to motivate, man. Like, come on, man. Donate to fucking motivate, man. There's nobody on YouTube telling y'all this shit like this.
They donate to niggas with dick prints. They donate to dick prints.
That's what they do.
A lot of subscribers.
But they ain't donating niggas that's being real and shit.
Gloves are definitely suspicious. I can't believe Yeah, they don't. Man, listen, they officials have never caught nobody cheating. It's always been the corners. So to expect
It's
them to
always
do
the
their
corners.
job, they never do it.
Exactly. He said he just sent it.
All right, I'm waiting for it to come through.
And then once it comes through, send it to me, Ross.
Yep, you already got this picture though. But you already got this picture. But yeah, this is the one I wanted you to use for this live. Because it's
All right.
obvious. You look at this shit, it's ridiculous how fucked up
Send
this
me that
glove
shit.
is.
Send me that shit.
Look at this.
Oh
Y'all think,
yeah.
y'all think
Yeah,
that's normal?
I had used that shit. Yeah. Yep.
Y'all think that's normal? This is the picture I wanted for this live stream. Cause
Yeah.
this is what would have set this bitch off. Look at that shit. That's cheating.
Yep.
Y'all think that's
Yep.
normal? How is that
Yep.
normal?
Oh, that's the one I did the shorts for. Okay. All right. Yeah, you're right. But yesterday we had that Tory Lanez, man. That's why we had up to 70, but we have close to 60, bro.
This shit ridiculous. Like,
Man,
yeah.
listen, man. Y'all need to donate to fucking motivate, man. And I'm tired of saying that shit, man, because we keep giving y'all motherfuckers that heat and that fire. We keep keeping the foot on the necks, and we separating the weak from the damn strong. Come on, man. Donate to motivate. Yeah.
Bro,
Suspect
look
like a
at this,
motherfucker,
man.
man. Look at those gloves. There is nothing natural about those gloves, man. Nothing. I don't give a fuck what anybody got to tell me. Your gloves not supposed to look like that. That is not fucking
Look at that
natural.
shit, man.
Yep. I already got that picture, so I'm gonna make sure I use it more and
That
more.
shit, whatever's at the top of that glove is hard as a motherfucker.
There it is. It tell you everything you need to know. Everything you need to know.
Look at that.
Everything. Oh, now motherfuckers saying OMG, really? Yeah. Y'all needed to see the gloves looking like that to finally realize something was off. That shit looked like Tyson Fury, man. Shit. Floppy like a motherfucker, floopy like a motherfucker, loaded like a motherfucker, tampered like a motherfucker, padded like a motherfucker, man. Like people actually act like they can't see what they're seeing. Spence is getting hit with dynamites. That's why Spence's face was like, I never seen Spence do no shit like that. Spence looked like he wanted to cry when he was getting hit, man. I ain't never seen that nigga look like that, man. That shit was padded.
The fact that Spence said Bud and Bud didn't buzz, what is that telling you?
Yep. That nigga was on PEDs. He was on the super soldier cocktail.
Got it. But Spence broke somebody's eye socket.
Yep.
So the power is not to be questioned. So if Spence hit Bud and he didn't buzz, that means the fight wasn't real.
That means Bud was on that double cheating. You hit me, I'm super soldiered up. But when I hit you, I'm loaded and padded up. Double cheater. He covered every angle, man. That motherfucker covered every angle for the fight.
Every angle. That nigga was scared as fuck of Spence. So he had
man down, got man down. That shit don't even make sense. That man down got man down. When does man down ever get man down? Man down put man down. So we can say what we want, but we know what we saw and we know what was in front of us.
There's a certain type of nigga who love living in fantasies. There's a certain type of man who live their life in fantasy.
Mm-hmm.
These niggas fuck bitches who like transsexuals. Women who get all that shit done in their body look like men.
Yep.
They change their bodies like transsexuals. Transsexuals were the first ones getting BBLs.
Yep.
But when you're a nigga that live in a fantasy, you're attracted to that fake ass body. Y'all the same niggas that attracted to this fake ass world.
Yep.
And you accept shit that's not real.
Yep.
Like, man, that nigga Young Boy so cold. That nigga went platinum. Y'all believe Young Boy really going platinum like that? He can't even sell out no shows.
Mm-hmm.
The baby and them, they shows get canceled because niggas don't come out. So y'all think they really selling those records? No, they
Exactly.
being made to look like they successful, man. Them niggas really be struggling.
Exactly.
This whole world you think is real is fake. This shit fake.
And that's why they have to oversaturate you with product and marketing and shit like that, because they have to make up for the fact that they need to make it other ways. It's just like these women that are on OnlyFans and all this other shit, right? They're not making money like that on OnlyFans. They're actually making money off of prostitution and guys fucking them. That's why you see they're always showing you videos of guys fucking them. It's those guys that's paying them to fuck them. That's how they're getting their bread. They're not getting their bread because people are watching them. First of all, they showed a statistic. Only 0.03% of people have subscriptions to OnlyFans. So how are they making money like that?
Right.
It's them niggas they dealing with that's paying them.
You got some beta males out there that are paying business to get naked and all that, but the type of money they flash, they're not making that type of money.
Nope.
They ain't making that type of money where they front row at the BET Awards and shit.
Exactly.
They getting the shit fucked out of them. And niggas don't got nothing else better to do with their money that'll give a bitch 10, 20 bands of fuck.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, those gloves that Crawford used was not regulated, man.
Exactly.
And guess what Floyd did? Floyd took Addison Reeser out of my down corner. That way he couldn't cheat.
Yep. He did
that way he couldn't cheat.
Yep. Floyd took him out of his corner and brought him on his side because Floyd is fire like that. But Floyd didn't even use him like that. He just brought him on his side to make sure that Maidana couldn't do no shit. Said, I'm gonna pay you double. Floyd know what he was doing. I'm gonna pay you double. And then niggas thought Floyd was using him. No. Floyd brought him on his side. Floyd did it with Manny Pacquiao too, because Manny Pacquiao was trying to use Alex Ariza. Floyd paid him double to make sure you don't have no advantages, man. Fuck you.
No, make sure he can't cheat.
Exactly.
If he wasn't cheating, he wouldn't have paid no shit. But when you know, Alex Ariza is known for cheating too. So Alex Ariza was known for cheating. So Floyd played him to keep him away.
Exactly.
But yeah, man,
Ross. Anything else you want to say, bro?
Man, hell no, man. You know, I would say we could stick around, but they're not even donating. So let's go ahead and end
it. They not. I mean, y'all give. We should have got at least with the way we've been killing y'all today. We should have been over 100. You know, we hit half the mark, but we should have been over 100, man. All right, Ross. It's been real. It's been easy. We'll see y'all next time. Peace.